We're live.
Oh, Sentinels drama. Drama Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday? Is it Monday? It's Drama Monday. It's Drama Monday here, but also we were supposed to be talking about China. We're still going to talk about China. Then we're going to be talking about power rankings. Then we're going to be talking about top 10 players. Dude, this episode's going to be insane. So I brought along 3 of the most sane individuals I could to be able to ground us. It's TMV, Mini, and Shayo. I don't know. Don't know if you qualify for that, buddy.
Don't know which pocket you got me out from, but it's definitely not the same pocket, man. Oh my goodness, look at me. I'm like labooed up. I'm in a bathrobe. Like, what's going on with? I've been in the VOD dungeon for the last like 16 hours, so I guess I'm saying it's nerfed me down a bit.
It looks like it. It looks like you slept in the VOD dungeon.
Yeah, I've been in this room for a hot minute, but I'm here. I'm happy. I'm Red Bulled up. Let's go.
Are you happy, TMV, that you've been in the Chinese VOD dungeon?
Happy. Am I happy to have watched those games? I wouldn't say so, no, personally, but we'll get into it.
Yes, we will get into it.
I mean, there's some
later.
funny stuff.
You're such a doomer, man. You're such a doomer.
I had an agenda where like Sliggy was refusing to watch the China VODs, and I came in with the agenda that was like open-mindedness, that like I would force him to have to watch China as well as all the 3 other regions and just kill him through stress and just general idiocy of just watching 20 hours of Valorant a day. And I came away with it thinking I can't make him watch it, to be honest with you. Like, he's probably right.
I mean, yeah, you literally can't do it if you're doing it live because they go live at the same time. Dude, red zoning, double monitor setup. There are areas of the co-streaming metagame yet to be cracked.
Him and his twin could just do it side by side. Like,
true. Yeah. And they finally unveil the prestige-looking scam that he's got running on the entire industry. But before we get into China, we teased a little bit of it, and we'll be doing our top 10 players later on, which is going to be nuts too. But this news just dropped. I didn't know whether to call it news or drama because it's so. You're
skipping
there's
something.
a point at which something becomes so transparent that it becomes like concocted again. Do you know what I mean? Like they're trying to be as open as possible, and then the narratives are like, I don't know. Once you put too much stuff in the public, it becomes absolutely bonkers, like crazy narrative spiraling all over the place. Sentinels have dropped Kaplan. And then, did they do a podcast or did they just hop on Tarek's stream?
No. It was Rob watching the LCS. Like, he's co-streaming LCS because Sen like just got into it, I think, or like this is like the first split. Tarek's there, and like half of it is like Rob explaining what you know Ivern does or something, and then also talking about like oh yeah, by the way, we dropped our coach and answering a question, and also like Annie like has this 4-step stun, which is really cool. Everyone's like asking about Sen Valorant in the chat. It's crazy, man. It was just a random co-stream, and then like his viewer count just started going up and up and up and up, and more people are coming in asking like journalistic questions and then asking like when's 10's coming back. So it was a combination of everything. But this cool little Google Doc announcement came out with Sen saying basically they're replacing Kaplan for Ewok from RRQ.
Yeah, who was previously, most recently at least, on the desk for Pacific because he was taking a break from RRQ coaching. I guess taking a break makes it sound like he could come back whenever he wanted. I think he was taking a break in his coaching career. At least that's what it seemed like. And he's straight back into it with, honestly, a difficult task, I would say. Like, I mean, from your perspective, what is? Would you want to jump into something like this as a coach that was, he already had a job at RRQ. He left of his own volition, from what we understand in RRQ. It's not like he was just maybe a bit similar to you, where he's like got a lot on his plate, decided he'd accomplished quite a bit, and wanted to take some time for himself, and now he's like jumping in at the deep end again with this project.
I guess it depends. Like, without knowing his background or anything, I think that this is quite a good one to jump into because it's like I know the Sen fans can be a bit rabid at times, but what I've watched of Sen, I think there's a lot of quick, easy fixes, to be honest with you. And so I think that his stocks will rise. And I think that because he's such a I think Ewok is probably a very competent coach that the Sen fans won't really know very well, and I think they'll like him quite quickly. So I think it will just be a no-brainer. Like, you get an offer like that, you kind of got to say yes. I think.
I mean, Kaplan has been tossed firmly under the bus. The bus is doing tricks on him right now.
Yeah, they ran over him. They reversed back over him. They reversed way back over him, and then went forward and back again over his mangled corpse. It's tough. But I think if you're Ewok, it's like, if it goes well, that's great, and you're happy, and everyone loves you. if it goes badly, I think the drama has kind of helped him because it looks more like a mess right now. You know, it looks like the drama makes it, I feel, look worse than it is. So if it goes horrifically, people might just be like, "Oh, it's not his fault. It's all just a mess back there right now."
It's almost poetic that the same kind of happened for Kaplan in the first place. Like he became head coach because they dropped Psycho mid-season, and I don't think people were like blaming Kaplan through the end of that season for anything. And I don't remember it being a particularly successful period, but I don't think it was awful either, from what I remember.
No, I mean, but at the same time, he then went the very next year, did a big turnaround, and actually got huge amounts of success, right? So, like...
Yeah, no. This isn't anything against Kaplan. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that if we're talking about pressure as a coach, it's kind of almost poetic that it's like kind of rhyming now that like the same kind of thing has happened again.
Yeah. All right, well, we've been talking around it quite a lot, but let's go through some of the bullet point things that have happened. So, Ewok's coming in to replace Kaplan. Rob has then hung the roster change maneuvers for this year very firmly around Kaplan's neck. And we haven't heard anything from Kaplan, right? He's been just like radio silent on this. But at some point, like, he's almost forced, I think, to say something about the situation because they've been saying so much about him and about the decisions that he's made without offering his justification of like why he made these changes, that there is just like a big hole in the narrative right now of, you know, his perspective on any of this. But okay, so Kaplan, can you run me through the details here, Shayo, more accurately? I've been seeing a lot of Kaplan had something contractual that he was the final say on roster changes, and that's why eventually the buck stops with him rather than with a GM figure or something like that within.
Yeah. So there was a contractual clause that Rob says he's never going to let any coach have again. That was like his things on his verbatim on stream. That Kaplan has the final say over the roster, and like any decisions he wants to make, he can make them. Which, like, for me, the only question I have on top of that is the only way to stop him to like fire him. Like, is that clause still available? And I think it should be. Like, I guess that's the end all be all. But past that, if he wants to make a change, he can do it. Yeah, first step obviously was that doc that came out. I'm like, oh, Kaplan's getting replaced. They're finally doing it. I wish the roster had a bit of a chance in stage one. It is what it is. Then the stream starts, and the first thing is that, yeah, Kaplan didn't want Zekin as a duelist and didn't offer him like a contract. I think I have like a TLDR still over here. Yeah, here it is. It's like halfway. I was doing a stream, and there were many questions coming in. So, like, this might be flipped. You might have to flip it, but
it's very flipped.
It's very flipped. Okay, let me see. Okay, there we go.
Oh, so, there we go.
Yeah, Kaplan's replaced. Like, he said that basically, like, the organization is now coming in with a clause that John is going to be the IGL again. Zekin was never offered a contract in the first place, while MIBR offered him a contract. Like, Kaplan didn't want to even offer a contract.
But that didn't end up being true as far as we can see afterwards, right? Because Rob further clarified that he wasn't offered a contract on Duelist. And that was what he originally said. But he had actually been in conversations with Sen as their second Duelist controller. And apparently, Zekin on stream, I watched the clip earlier, was saying that pretty much every team he talked to wanted him on second Duelist controller for this year. As like their, you know, Yoru controller player, like he's currently playing for MIBR, yeah. So it's not like Kaplan was doing something weird with Zekin that nobody else wanted to do. Can we just touch on that for a second, though, guys? Why the hell does everybody want Zekin to be... I know that Zekin's a good Yoru. He is. Like, we saw that at the beginning of last year. But why do you want to make the guy play that role when he was also one of the world's best hard entry duelist players? Like, if he was on the raw hard entry role right now, playing a ton of Neon, he'd be even better than he is on Yoru, wouldn't he? Like, it's not like the guy's known for the op.
Yeah. I guess it depends on exactly what teams were trying him out, I suppose. Like, for instance, like if it was Cloud9 or something, then maybe they were like, well, Oxy would be better and Zekin would be better in those roles. Like, it might be down to just like the specific teams that want him, but I agree with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense, I think. But who knows?
And yet it was shared by quite a lot of the people building teams at the start of the year.
My impression, this is where my fraudulent not knowing Americas as well as you guys probably comes in. My impression of Zekin was always that he was a cerebral kind of player and suited more of that kind of second duelist vibe. I never saw him as like a Julgam or Dirk in the sense that he would go in deep. I could be wrong. Like his Neon stats look unbelievable, and you can't exactly get those stats without kind of tearing shit up a little bit.
He actually, domestically, for sure, he was like the guy who went deep in Americas, actually. Like, in fact, towards the end of last year, we're skipping ahead a little bit here, but I can understand Kaplan's reasoning of maybe wanting to swap him off the main duelist because nobody was helping him at the end of last year. If you look back at the end of 2025, he was the sole guy entering, and he had to put up astonishing stats. Otherwise, his team had no hope because they weren't doing that thing that they used to do with tens, where they would put two people in the site at the same time. There was just no second guy. And so I can understand from Kaplan's perspective being like, hey, guys, this shit ain't working. Like, if you're not going to step up with Zekken, we're going to have to make Zekken be the second guy because he's got the killer instinct and have somebody whose job it is to go in. And then at least we have two guys actually entering. Like, I can understand that perspective as a fix, maybe. Strange.
Yeah. Also, it's a little bit weird because I feel like a lot of the blame has come, like a lot of like the isn't Kaplan bad story has come from this decision over Zekken. When didn't Rob say like during the offseason, like, oh, MIBR just offered a contract that was like, yeah, there's no way we can match that. Well, what the fuck's Kaplan gonna do about that?
Well, no, he couldn't do anything, and that's what it feels like. Is they didn't offer him the same contract as a duelist, and then while they were waiting to sort out the rest of the roles on the team, at some point during that period of them sorting things out, where they didn't lock Zekken down instantly into a duelist role, like a secondary duelist controller role because they weren't sure it was going to fit their team, they, allowed time for MIBR to come along. And I think that is a mistake, right? Like, if you're building a team, you got to be throwing the bag at Zekken because he's just so good. Like, I can understand that being a mismatch. Even if he's going to play the second duelist or something, he's got to be on there. He was your best piece.
Yeah. I think my thing too with the entire Kaplan versus like Rob Moore situation is that the argument was he has like everything he wants to do like with the roster and his contract clause. He makes all these moves and like you can see the validity of some of them with like, John being a crazy fragger in the first part of Kickoff and like activating that side of it. Maybe they just needed time with the IGL, time with like maybe making one roster move. Like there's options. Maybe Rob disagreed and that led to the whole thing blowing up. But the other thing is like he kept saying that there's consequences when things don't go well. And like if there's a guy offering to blow up everything the organization loves the most about the roster, which is, Zekken switching roles, John switching off IGL, like the organization loves this. And your coach is coming to you saying, I want to blow it all up. And like your only option is to fire him or agree. You have to either agree to the very end, fire him there. You can't fire him at this point and then say it's just his fault. And then also not have accountability yourself saying that was a bad decision. Here's what we're going to be doing differently. Here's what Ewok's doing differently. Like, I feel there's so much like just blame on Kaplan and there's no self accountability for making that decision to allow him to make the roster changes and go forward with it. That part feels like the ickiest to me, where there's no like, again, like self organizational accountability, because the GMs or like the owner of San Rob in this case is like in charge of that decision too. And there's like no self awareness of like, I was also a part of this. I said yes. I could have said no at any time. Like that's I think the thing that's bothering me the most.
I did watch a clip earlier that was him saying, like, he said Kaplan wanted to go in this direction with the team in the offseason, and my staff wanted to go in a different direction. And at the end of the day, I sided with Kaplan. And he was basically saying like, yeah, I know I'm a bad owner. And then because he's doing a podcast with Tarek's like, no, bro, you're not a bad owner. You're not a bad owner. But like, there is a shred of accountability there in the sense that he's not saying, my hands were forced, there's nothing I could do about it. Like, he is saying he backed Kaplan to make the change. And honestly, like, from Rob's perspective, like, you are supposed to trust your coach to go in that kind of direction, I think. Especially considering that the last time he made serious changes to the roster was the beginning of the 2024 season, which, saw Ten swap over to playing Omen, something that he hadn't played at all. Like, in the previous year, he was playing hard Duelist and KO, and honestly, he looked shit on both of them. His KO improved dramatically the year after, but the Omen was like, holy shit, this has just unlocked a huge amount of stuff. And he just believed in Duelist narrate. And I think he was just wrong.
Yeah. I think the main problem, though, coming over all of this is, like, it's good to have people like Rob in the scene. I mean, he's giving us some content right here, right? So we're talking about it. It wouldn't have happened without him. Well, thanks for the content, Rob. But, it's good to have, particularly for such an, like, important org in Valorant as well. Like, Rob is, very front-facing, and he's, willing to kind of put himself out there. But I just feel like in this moment in time, it just didn't, there was just a lot that didn't need to be said. right? Like he could have just firing Kaplan. More than half of the Sen fans were saying do it anyway. So the fans already agree with you. You don't even need to justify it. You can just say, yeah, we were shit in kickoff. We were shit. Like we didn't think it was gonna get better. We were shit. We fired him because we didn't think we were gonna get better. We appreciate what he did. He won a Masters for us. It was great. Love that. Love the time that he had here. It wasn't working right now. Move on. I feel like sometimes you can just do that because this is a recent trend in sports as well. Kurt was kind of mentioning it before the show started. There is this weird trend in sports now where a manager or a coach or a GM like gets fired from a sports team, and then this wave of articles come out about how terrible the person is as a human being. It's like Tottenham just fired their coach, Thomas Frank. And all the fans are fucking calling for it anyway. But then there's articles coming out about like, oh yeah, he only talked about Arsenal, their main rivals, and how fucking good they were. And then yeah, you just lost to them 4-1 the other day. Yeah, it was shit. You don't need to say like, oh yeah, his fucking breath stunk. Oh, he never fucking washed. Like you don't need to say all this shit. It was going shit. You fired him. Most of the fans agree with you. It's fine. Chill.
I do think that's something in general that there's a few org owners right now that I think there was one recently that was talking to me and was saying that like they were making an unpopular decision and was like, it's fine, I won't say anything, I'll just eat the crap for the next 2 months, and then if it goes well, then the fans are gonna forget it immediately. The fans forget stuff so quickly.
Yeah.
So
but that's an
it's probably
unpopular decision. I could understand. Like, but this is
I mean,
Sen
I
fans are
think
gonna
it's
probably argue that one.
controversial, at least.
I think it's not just if it was just replacing Kaplan and Ewok, that would be one thing. But then Rob was also talking about John's coming back to IGL. Yeah. Caillou's now been officially dropped. I mean, not officially because you need 5 people on the roster, right? But like in the sense that Rob literally said it's happening. Am I wrong?
I mean,
with
if John
Sharon?
is becoming the IGL, I mean, you have to assume that.
Wasn't Narrate also on the chopping block too?
I think
That's what,
but he never specifically said narrate, did he?
Well, Narrate went live during like the entire LCS like broadcast he was doing, and this title's just He has no Sen sponsors on, and like the first 2 minutes there's like silence, and the first thing he sells is just gulp, and everything in the chat is just laughing. And then he's playing a DM on Split, and he keeps switching into his pistol. He's like, guys, the Sen Classic is just so fucking ugly. Like I can't do this. Like it's a garbage. It's such a mid classic. Like I don't like it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the color wave's not good. Like
if he stays on the team now, that'd be so funny.
I mean, that is content. That is content
Shows
right
like an
there.
investigative journalist over the Central. Like the 16-hour boards didn't happen. There was 16 hours of you going deep on the Twitch stream.
Yeah,
I mean, starting a stream with a 2-minute silence and then audibly saying gulp is like incredible comedy. That is really, really good. But yeah, because Rob was saying that he wants to make a couple of roster changes potentially, and he's like, oh, but you know, we're gonna have John IGL and we love Redux, and I like Cortesia even though even though he hasn't been playing that well. It's like, Rob, you basically just said
shit. So who's left?
Yeah, it's like, it's
well, you see the Kayak and Durka like the screenshot as well. They're like, man, I'm busy on Tuesday, and then Durka's like, yeah, like they're asking me to use a VPN. Kai's like, I'm flying to LA, like it's crazy. So like, everyone's making fun of the situation. Like a lot of people are rescheduling their Tuesday plans. Sen's having the trials then, and like, dude, I don't know. People are talking about like now like every name coming out of the book. Inspire, Jonah P. The people who are sleeping are saying Demon 1 because they haven't watched Kickoff yet. Like it's, bro, it's just chaos. Like I don't know where the org needs to go, but they need to maybe. I just wish this was more about the excitement that Rob had for Ewok or like things to do in the future. I think true accountability would be like, listen, whatever happened, but this is what I'm excited for. This is where I'm trying to going. This is where we're going towards.
Well, they don't have a plan yet.
Air out everything, huh?
They don't have a plan yet, do they?
Their plan was to
trials.
make Kaplan look like crap and then try to get the fans to like them rather than actually focus on the players they actually have and their feelings. Because if you're on the team currently, how do you feel about this? Oh, if I make a mistake, the owner's going to talk shit about me after they cut me. Great. I can't wait for that. I'm sure Caillou and Neri feel awesome. That must be a wonderful feeling.
Broadcast when
so disrespectful.
Bashing Sen, you'll know Kurt's the producer.
Yeah.
They just putting up things saying Sen is shit.
I mean, apparently it was a team decision as well. Like, it wasn't just Rob who wanted these changes.
It doesn't matter. Don't do it publicly. It's good that it's a
by
team
the way.
decision. What the fuck are you doing publicly? It's so disrespectful. It's so immature. How old is Rob Moore? Like freaking 65? I don't know. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, dude, imagine if like someone on Plat Chat just disappeared on the podcast and we spent a fucking hour at the start just talking shit about them without having them like
I mean, I would if
way.
it was TMV.
Yeah. So it's just so it's ridiculous.
But maybe that's
like.
But
It's
he hasn't been talking
ridiculous.
to be the devil's advocate for the billionaire
It's-
here. Hold on.
It's not talking shit, but it's like basically, I know Platcha has gone downhill recently, but we noticed some comments that people didn't like TMV, so we made a team decision to get rid of him. We actually didn't like. He had like some thoughts on
Why
like
is it
how
me,
the
Kurt? Why?
because
You're
you
the
make
one who
fun of
turned
me
your
all the
camera off.
time.
Yeah, I know, but
turned
you
your
could
camera
have.
off,
You
man.
still
You
could have
turned-
picked anyone there.
You
He
turned
had
your
some-
camera off. You
You could have said. You could have said. I mean, Brent. When was the last time Brent was here?
You literally picked this. You turned your
You
camera
turned
off.
your
I
camera
know,
off.
but
You
I just
became-
feel like it also is revealing a little bit about mine and Kurt's relationship.
If you beef with Kurt, you're out, by the way. We're not kicking Kurt off the show.
Well, we're just doing rehearsals
You're
for the
gone,
next
bucko.
episode, bro. Like, come on.
The one thing I have to disagree with is that the whole team was on page with this decision and the way it went down. Like,
Well, it can't be the
obviously,
whole
if you
team.
ask the players, like, hey, do things need to change? Like, after kickoff, they're probably saying, yeah, like things need to change. Even Caillou's probably saying, things need to change, Rob. I think so. And Rob's like, all right, you're cut. Like, Caillou's not coming up and saying, Rob, kick me from the team. Like, there needs to be a change, please, sir. Let me go. I'll take one for the team. He wants to play.
If the players said, "Nah, fam, we just had some bad results. Like, let us cook a little bit," that is a very, very different answer than no, this team actually does need changes.
And then changes is not cuts. Changes could be role changes. Let's experiment with
could
some
be.
comps. Let's
Could
do
be.
some crazy
But
shit
also-
in stage one. Have you guys heard of the champion veto? The Asian
But
veto?
but also, do you actually think that this team was built solidly in a way that would account for that? Like, I think they did need probably one.
I think
roster
this
change in
team was
order to
made
build
with a
things better.
vision, long term, past kickoff, past 3 bad games, to maybe even try some things in stage 1, and then maybe 3 games in, if shit is looking like, Spank 3 2.0, switch things up, like go a different route, go somewhere else, but give them a chance. Like it's wild, man.
I don't know. They lost to Lev, show. They lost 2-0 to Lev.
It's gonna look bad. They were even expecting things to look bad. They said developmental period. Is development starting at 100%?
Have you
Or is it
watched
starting
Lev,
at a
though?
low percentage and rising up higher?
The fact that they put Redux on the opening duelist and then had Narrate like flexing over to Chamber and stuff, they might have been able to make that kind of stuff work, but they didn't give it any further attempt. So, but I sympathize a little bit with the teams in this position, because if you don't make roster changes now, are you going to make champs? Like, probably not. Like, what, are you going to make them after stage 1?
Well, that's my other thing.
Well,
though.
maybe.
Is
It's
champs
not
the
like a
goal for
team
this
made a
team?
roster move that late in the season and won
Champs a
or
goal for
something.
this team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Because hear me out why, because something that Rob said on stream too was that like half the time it was like a Jekyll and Hyde thing where he was like, yeah, we made second and third last year, it was a good year, and then he's talking about how things biffed up at champs and that's a bad thing. So I'm not sure what the expectations are from the organization as to what a good year and a bad year is, because I think for a lot of people you would say a bad year is what Sen had last year, which is
Wait, hold on. Sorry,
pretty good.
Shio. What did you just pull up, Kurt? Jets owner Woody Johnson cited Madden ratings in evaluating players, as in like what the players will rate, like the
on the video
score
game.
on the video game.
yes.
Yeah.
That is actually very similar to Rob listening to Brendan say 100 Thieves should actually be a better expected team and losing his shit. Yeah, that's funny. But,
that's just
he
my
said,
thing, 'cause, like-
Shio, that they are making these changes to make it to champs, but the real reassessment period will be for Masters 1 2027. Of
I
whether
know,
or
but
not they make
before
it.
that, he was like, just pogging out at the fact that, man, we made second, and third, and then Kaplan wants to make these changes. What's that all about? Like, there's definitely a side of like he thinks last year's is a success because they're doing well regionally, where like half the people who are criticizing Sen don't care about the regionals, but then he does, he doesn't.
Sure,
like, what's
right.
the that's where I have like a.
But he
disconnect
made it
as
to all
what
the
is-
regionals. I think making it to the regionals is actually, for an org owner, that is the important thing. Because if you make it to the regionals and then you're in front of the camera more, you're being able to have all of these like matches against big teams, you're getting to champs, you're getting the revenue of being able to go to champs. Like, that is actually more important.
Yeah,
than
well, I
doing
hope
well
they
in the
make the regionals. They're playing in Americas.
Sorry, making the globals. You know what I mean.
Okay,
I'm,
okay,
I'm
yes.
confused by your point, Shao. You're saying that they made second, third, and stuff, but they
Yeah.
didn't. They didn't this time, and they made changes. I don't really understand what's.
No, I'm saying
what's
like last year, he's like what my disconnect with the entire Rob situation is that he's looking at their regional success as like an indicator as to like hating Kaplan, but then also jumping on the bandwagon of like champs is bad. Like he was defending a lot of the reasons for like kicking the coach because like they had a good year and he made a change, and that was really weird. But then he's going on a rant about how, and it kind of contradicts himself, where like champs was a bad representation for Sentinels. Like the end of the year was a bad representation, and like that's why we need to change things. But I just don't understand where he's coming from, and what the goal is for the organization. Are they focusing on regionals and send to be like a brand team, or are they focus on internationals? Because from what I look at for the Kaplan changes, that seems like an international thing. Like they're looking to really bolster the roster to be better than they could be, because things didn't work out last year internationally, but they were okay regionally. And then we just don't go through with those changes. We don't stick true with it long term, and we're going back to being good regionally. Because yes, you're gonna suck in this kickoff if you have 5 people on like a role change, right? Like that's just going to happen. But then you don't stick true to it. You're kind of just playing for that regional trophy again. You're playing for just being good in Americas and not a good team overall.
I don't know. I think they definitely want the team to be able to make it to champs by the end of the year. So I think they're still trying to get to an international level. It's just whether or not it's reasonable. Like, I don't know. They're certainly making the change to try to get there. The biggest thing that I don't understand about some of these situations that I've been confused moving from Overwatch to Valorant for years now is that in Overwatch it was extremely standard to have a GM who was in charge of all of the roster moves, and the coach was also decided by the GM. The coach came in to run the team, not to build the team, right? And so that it doesn't really seem to exist to the same degree in Valorant, or at least if it does, it's very hidden behind the scenes, and these people don't have accountability for decisions.
Well, can I just ask Minnie, like when you were on Fnatic, and not necessarily like Chronicle and Leo, because obviously everyone knew they were already good, but like when you're picking up Althea, right, and you're working with Kojo, like how is that, like how's that dynamic work out? Like, are you going to him saying, oh, I know this player, like he's really good, or is he like finding it? What was the situation there?
I think for me and him, I think because I think it was like I would come up with the idea and he would basically decide whether that was good or not. Like he would have final say for sure. Like he would have the final say, but ultimately I think he trusted me a lot and we had a collaboration on stuff, and like over time we'd have a lot of meetings. Like the relationship to me and the GM was probably just as important as mine and Bosa's relationship, realistically. Like every week me and Colin would have a meeting and talk about the team and where we're at. And I think that is a missing gap in a org like Sentinels, maybe. It's like, can you realistically have those leadership meetings in the same way if it's your CEO? It doesn't really feel quite the same. Like, I would much rather have that meeting with someone who's like Colin than I would say the Fnatic CEO, who's got a very different skill set and a very different outlook on things, and is obviously going to have a bit more on his plate. So yeah, I think that it was just a collaboration. I think with other orgs where you have a newer coach, obviously it becomes a bit more the GM's responsibility at that point. I'm sure that when I left, or in the kind of intermediate, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say, like in that kind of passing a time where I was leaving, I'm sure that Colin had to step up a bit more and kind of figure things out and take more control and power. But yeah, I agree with Josh that like the problem is though, is like trying to find a good GM is probably like trying to find a good coach. It's like kind of difficult to do it.
And most of the people who do that, who are known for it, have been around for a long time. You don't just kind of pick them up and drop them as often anyway. But I don't know. There's plenty of people who are like, well, maybe this is going to end up being a bad example, but there's plenty of people who were coaches and might be in a position to go into jobs like that. But I mean, yeah, who knows?
I mean, like it's honestly, it was one of those things that I was like looking at potentially. I think ultimately there's a lot more work than you suspect, and like you don't get rid of the pressure. Like you're going to be watching a game and feeling awful just as much as anyone else who's a stakeholder in that environment, and so you don't get as much control necessarily over the actual game, but you feel just as crap when the team is losing. So yeah, it's definitely a skill set I think a lot of coaches could go into, because there is a lot of overlap between the GM and the coach in terms of responsibility and stuff, and it just depends how your teams ran and all that kind of stuff as to how much of it is. Historically, I think that coach ran teams are the ones that do the best, and that should also involve the GM if you've got a GM. So
Sure.
I think this whole Kaplan situation, it makes sense that they trusted him with certain decisions, and I do think it's bold and maybe correct that they kind of realized the writing was on the wall a little bit to just make a decision so brutal.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. It's brutal, but it's also just a very clear difference of direction. We will catch back up with Sentinels then once we know more about what's going on with them at the end of Santiago, I assume, because they're going to be. Yeah, Boaster's got his trial coming up on Tuesday. Don't know if you heard about that, Minnie, but all sorts of people are going in and out of the Sentinels camp by the sound of things. So I think let's get on with the meat and potatoes. But first of all, we have our member question, which we normally do at the top of the show, but I was so excited about Sentinels, I wanted to sink my teeth
Frothing
into
at
them
the mouth
immediately.
at Sen.
I was. So let's go into our member question. And the member question is, how are we going to celebrate 100,000 subscribers? Because we hit 100k subscribers after the previous episode, I think. Is it a coincidence I take an episode off and we hit 100k? I don't think so. We're going to go back down again now. Some suggestions here. Suggested by the members. Mimi uses her landlord money to build a Valorant train station connecting all the regions with an intercontinental railroad. That sounds simple. Sounds easy. Shayo finally follows through on his EWC wheel spins for the charity streams that we were doing. Bleaching hair, auctioning off his toy card of the chat, and handcuffed to Sideshow for 24 hours.
I was working on a skill for this. Don't worry. It's all in process. It's all in process. Don't look at that too hard. Just keep moving on. Keep moving on.
Uh-huh. Brendan and I, let's start a Plat Chat Deadlock podcast where it's just them duo queuing after a few gummies. They've been big into Deadlock. They've been playing a ton of that. Sliggy leaves his house. Holy shit.
That's
A video of
We had
Sliggy
that. I think he did
touching
that today.
grass. He did that today?
Yeah, he's not
Holy
here.
Was AI?
Oh my god.
This is to win.
Sideshow hits Immortal without the help of former and current Fnatic Valorant coaches.
I was gonna say it doesn't say former.
I've already done that, by the way. I've already done that twice in 2 different regions. Eat my entire ass. Paper Thin buys a yacht and brands it with DFM. That's a good one. And finally, DMV oils up, of course. Of course. That's never gonna happen. You guys can just get rid of that one.
Well, where's one for Kurt? I mean, I feel like Kurt should be on here somewhere.
Yeah? What would
Kurt
you
should
like
have
to
get
make
a
Kurt
Sen
do?
tattoo after what he just said, I think.
I already have one.
Sorry.
I have no idea how we're going to celebrate 100,000 subscribers, but it'll involve lots of champagne and caviar and all of that kind of good stuff when we meet up in our secret Plat Chat compound. You guys got the invite, right?
I mean, TMV didn't, but everybody else did. We'll talk about it next week on the podcast.
All right, let's go into China then. Let's crack on with China. So we said we were going to give you guys a recap. Unfortunately, it has taken us a long time to be able to get up to speed on China because it's been running concurrently with Pacific, unfortunately, as it was in the previous years. And there's still no official English stream, even though Leo Faria said that there would be at the end of, I think it was like 2024 or something. So where's that, Leo? Where the hell did that go? But we have caught up on a bunch of different stuff. So let's start with Minnie delivering us an investigative journalism piece into Chinese Valorant's defensive fundamentals because we've all watched the VODs and there's something fishy going on.
Yeah, so the past couple of years I've been trying to figure out my own role in esports, right? And I think I've explored quite a few different avenues, but the one I was going to say gaping hole, but that's not a good phrase to use. The one avenue I've not explored yet is academia, and the collegiate scene in America is quite popping off right now. In the UK, I think it's a bit of a meme, but there's money to be made. So I'm basically got a little bit of like an essay here for us. This is you guys are going to be peer reviewing it with me, and it'll be the first peer reviewed essay to get over 10 viewers. So I'm very happy for this. So so it's called Shooting Matters. Do strategic fundamentals matter in Valorant 2026 meta? Foreshadowing that perhaps some of the issues that we might be talking about over the next hour or so don't actually matter at all and might not actually impact anything. An investigation of Chinese VALORANT, a case study, all games, XOG and EDG's defense. So yeah, so I want to just go into this. So if we go straight into figure 1, which is the next page. The first thing I wanted to discuss really is how I was going to do this about all gamers and about how disappointed I was with some of the strategic fundamentals from the first seed. But I think I flipped it into kind of comparing it to XLG. I think XLG are actually a team that have pretty sound strategic fundamentals. And like the first thing I want to talk about is if you look at that red circle is the Euro I'm looking at, right? So I think that XLG kind of understand how to use the Euro. And the Euro to me, what I'm looking for on that defense side is for them to like handhold people into deeper positions early on into the round, and then use his TP to go do something else once they're set into position. And so that allows them to do two things at once, right? It allows them to, if there's an A-main fight here, they can fight with 3 people. They're not A-main. They get to keep that position, TP away and do other stuff on the map. And XLG understand this. AG and EDG do not understand this. And that's kind of a bit annoying for a team that at a global event standard to kind of not know that. This is the kind of stuff, though, in hindsight, like if I was to be kind of nice about it, this is the kind of stuff I was helping PaperX with last year. Like, I think this was one of the key issues that PaperX had. So it's not like this is like disastrous, but it's like, I think pretty bad that like they don't know this stuff or aren't playing with this stuff. The way that I would describe how they play the Yoru on AG and EDG is they just play Yoru like a jet. They'll just put him on an anchor site and then have the TP for himself to escape noise. So it's not really like a macro. It's not interesting macro to me when they do that. Like you can do that sometimes, but ultimately XLG are doing nicer things. And then if we go to the next figure, so a little bit more complicated here. I wanted to just look at the Astra Stars and Pro. The other thing that I think XLG do really well, which is the blue, is they'll put forward conditioning stars. So what that means is that they'll put this star every single round. When they want to take aim in, it's there. And it's not a surprise that, oh my God, there's some stars here. And then when they don't need to use them, they can just dissipate them. And then they don't put 5 stars across the map at the start of the round. They actually have stars left to do dynamic things with. Whereas when you watch AG and EDG, they put 5 stars down almost at the start of the round on the most passive line possible. And then when they want to push areas, they put the stars down. And of course, if you're A main and you see stars going aggressive, you're like, well, they're putting these stars down for the first time in the game. Let's go B. Like I keep asking my chat, like I pause the game when this happens. I say, what does this mean? And my chat is able to like dissect it. My chat are basically becoming VCT coaches very quickly because honestly, like it's quite bad. If you put stars down aggressively and you've not seen them the whole game, like you kind of, it's like, well, they're going to be taking A main right now. Like it's so like obvious. So I think that AG and EDG have like this problem with like not understanding the forward spacing stars or conditioning stars. Like honestly, this is stuff in 2021 that we were like struggling with, but I think in 2026 it's like a bit egregious. EDG, to give them credit, they had this cool like the white star on the left. It was like the Astra could go a bit aggressive and then use it as dissipate to escape. So it's like you don't need to use the duelist. But that was the only thing I really saw from the other team. So again, credit to XOG, and then EDG, and like EDG were the worst here. Like they would do like 3-man pushes on B long and have 2 stars behind them. And I'm like, what's the point of those stars behind you? Like you're not using them. Like you could just save them and then put them when you need them. So yeah, so not very impressed with EDG or AG's usage. And if we go to the next page, so this is the problem that then occurs for mostly AG, so all gamers. I'm calling it the Sen Quater problem. So I watched a couple of maps of Sen playing Split, and basically what I'm using the Sen Quater to mean is like behind your own barrier, essentially. So in front of your barrier is usually some neutral space. And Sentinels in 2 maps did not take neutral space on the map in 24 rounds, essentially. They stood behind the barriers. And I think in a meta where you got double duelists, you need to be proactive, you need to be clearing space. I think that's a bit egregious. And I think all gamers have this problem right now. Like, if you watch the VODs, there's very little times they actually fight aggressively for any kind of space. They kind of just sit very passive, which I don't understand how this is, because Fangir's stats kind of imply that he's like taking a lot of opening duels. But in the VODs I was watching, they just sat behind the equator basically the entire time. On the flip side, XLG were, as soon as I watched Split, they were like taking B main control. They were like trying to reaggress into map control. They were actually trying to take a lot of the map. So I think that all gamers specifically have a problem on their defense that I think is going to be exposed a little bit if they don't start pushing past the Sen equator. Yeah, and then the next page is just a list of just sniping some. That's just a. There are quite a few crimes.
Strategic fundamentals.
Like I'm not
Okay.
gonna list them out. We're gonna talk about them inevitably, but some of the. I think the most egregious one was the amount of times they'll see a Viper orb, and then just try and throw utility through it and run either through it or just or throw the utility, and then just stand behind it and just waste the minimal amounts of utility you have to go through Viper orbs in a meta where you have one Skydog maybe or a Silver Drone. It's like, well, what? Like, just bait that out and then use your dog and go together. Why are we just sending a dog through an orb and then watching dogs die, basically? Yeah. Yeah, and then the last page, I just want to quickly, I got my sources here. This is peer reviewed.
Yep.
And acknowledge. I'd just like to thank Patch 12.0 for making this all possible because my conclusions, honestly, is that I think despite all this, it doesn't matter. They have a bunch of good players, and like literally, Valorant just become shooting. And this region can't shoot. So
to be clear, all of these issues are not going to make a blind bit of difference as to whether or not China's going to be good at this
it will make a difference. But the problem is, if I start using strategic logic in this meta to inform my decision making over predictions, it doesn't work.
Oh, please say it ain't so many, because I've been so down on AG. I've been such an AG hater ever since I watched
you're done. You're absolutely done. Yeah.
I'm done.
Well,
as soon as Shrimp and Fangio get some kills on site, despite the fact they played on site for 12 rounds, like I would trust. It depends. Like I think this is an opportunity to show how good coaching is on the other side. Like, if all gamers continue to play in this way on the defense, and we're seeing teams not abuse that, I'm more concerned about the coaching on the other side than I am about all gamers in a certain respect. So I think it's actually putting the pressure on the teams playing against these teams in some respect.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with someone recently where they said, don't worry about watching the Chinese VODs, because if they're good at the event, you won't be able to tell it from the VODs anyway. Because the majority of the times where China's made a podium in the past, it has been unpredictable. Like the Wolves run, you wouldn't have been able to predict that by watching Wolves VODs in China, in my opinion. And I think maybe EDG's run would be slightly different because there was a bit of a feeling of like, oh, these guys are actually kind of crushing domestically and they look like they know what they're doing. Am I missing somebody else as well? But I mean, like, yeah, like BiliBili looked good domestically and then looked horrible at champs as well. Like China does tend, I think, even more than the other regions, though it might be a bit of bias with us not being as involved in the scene. They do tend to have extraordinarily different performances once they get to the global events rather than regional. But I think
China as a region, individuals are looking like, if you created like 2 super teams from China right now, they would be really good. And if they were coached by people like Hoya, like I think that they would actually have a very good chance to go very deep. I still think that one of these teams will end up going deep just off of individual, just like pop off, because they do have, every single team here has like 2 players that can go nuclear for sure. It's just so hard to bet on because you don't all the logic doesn't really make sense for some of the teams.
Well, then let's start with AG, and we'll assume that people at home don't know too much. Maybe they've only watched the finals, or maybe they haven't watched any of it. They just looked at the VLR page or something. So we'll try to give like a little elevator pitch on what you should expect from AG. And let's start with the players, because I think your segue of all of these teams have somebody who's nuts. Mm-hmm. So all gamers they've slimmed down their roster, something rotten this year. they don't have all the gamers anymore. But this team, Shayo, were you talking to me about how Fangio was on the Carmine Corp roster originally? Maybe that was a TMV point that you were talking about. Because you were mad that they had let him go, were you?
Well, yeah, I just felt like it was, here's this guy coming in. I mean, you could say this about potentially multiple KC players with Martin as well. Like they've gone somewhere else and just like instantly had major success in a way. Yeah, and AG, like Fangia is one of their players who can certainly pop off. Shrimp has a lot of moments as well. Even if you watch some maps, even Kira, like is on. I think it was a Raise Bind game that I watched. Went absolutely crazy once. Like there are But this is the thing about AG, and Minnie's talking about it perfectly, because the way that they strategically play sets them up for failure. Their strategic sets them up for failure, and then their individuals fucking bail them out over and over and over and over again. And I got so annoyed watching the XLG Grand Final game that they played, because I was like, if I'm Havoya for XLG here, I would have tore my head off. How annoyed, like, how are we losing these rounds constantly when we're in good spots constantly all the time? It was insane. And so then I went back and watched their DRG game as well. I mean, some of the things happen in that DRG game are fucking unbelievable. The first map of Corrode, they get battered, and that was basically like, if you had a game where AG go 50-50 in who's making hero plays, this is the score you get, where they can't win anymore. They then play against DRG against two Reinas. Because that's the thing, I was like, how the fuck has this team got here? They play against double Reina doing fuck all, and they win like close games against fucking Reinas, and I'm losing my shit watching this game again. And Kurt, if you can show Unbind, please. I mean, I just have to show this just to show you some of the whimsy that's happening in China.
Whimsy. This is anti-Chinese propaganda that TMV's got here.
No. I'm not sure if you know what I'm about to pull up.
I don't know.
It's unbelievable what is about to happen here. So at the end of round 7 here on Bind, again, this is a map that DRG lose because they're playing Reina, but we're actually going to watch DRG win 2 of their rounds. And just some of the shit that's going on is unbelievable, because you can skip towards the end of round 7, Kurt, because Vukashu is going to win a 1v3 to start it off, which is in and of itself ridiculous, and fucking AG just run at him one by one like little lemmings off a cliff. Don't know what they're doing. But then after Vukashu wins the 1v3, fucking chaos. Chaos ensues. You can skip ahead, Kurt. Just keep skipping until you get to like the 1v3. The rest of it doesn't really matter in this round. But here you go. He's in a 1v3. And it's Vukashu, right? Like, we know Vukashu's good. You know, he can win these rounds. He gets the ult.
Oh,
and that's how he wins a 1v3. Okay.
Oh, I mean,
but then, no, right. Go back 5 seconds quickly. Go back to the end of that. So we just saw Vukashu there. After he wins the 1v3, he's standing up. Now the spike is right by his feet. You can see just there. He just picks it up right now. And so the round ends. He can go and plant the spike, but he doesn't plant the spike. You see, he stands up instead, and he decides to pop off and have a little go at them. Look, there he is, standing up, pointing at DRG. Skip ahead, Kurt, to the next round. This is round number, what is it? Round 8 here? Have you ever seen a buy with 9 sheriffs? It's round 8. Vukashu is the only one with a gun that he carried over from the last round, and everyone else has a sheriff. This is round 8 of a game, and the way this round plays out is also quite funny, because what happens if you just skip ahead a bit, Kurt, as well? I'm pretty sure Kira's going to find a 2k here in a second. With his sheriff, and then guess what? AG, they find themselves in a 5v3, so there's one kill. He's gonna get another one in a second. There you go. They lose from this spot. So 5v3, not only do they lose from this spot, they use multiple ults and lose from this spot. Because guess what? Kira, I mean, look, again, they're playing back here, you know, again, the Senquator, what Minnie called it. No, they're not playing ahead of that line. Don't worry about that. But then he goes out and dies. And now they're going to use 2 ults and still lose the round. And this is some of the fucking shit that I'm watching in these VODs of just like, how have we got to this spot? How am I watching a round with 9 sheriffs in it? Why am I watching a Wild West cosplay? They Yoru ult, they Brim ult. They don't get anything from it. Now they're going to lose. It was just fucking maddening watching this team. I despise AG in the way that they play Valorant.
It's crazy.
I fucking despise them. They just hero play after hero play. I hate it, and I hope they go out. I've told you on
gonna win.
If they win, well, like you say, Minnie, if they win, my faith in Valorant as a game, like. Sometimes Sliggy comes on here and says, oh, what I love about this game is that the coaches, you know, can really make a big impact. If he ever says that shit again, if AG wins more than 2 games, just know that he's fucking lying. Because clearly not. All that matters is shooting. Bren was always right.
Wait. I, having watched some of AG, I didn't watch this game. I decided that watching them beat double Reina comps was not going to be worth my time to investigate. But I'm glad that you've got your report going. But
it was horrible.
From the AG games that I did watch, I think they still have ways to win that will throw people off. So like if we can, Kurt, would you be able to pull up the AG versus XLG game on Split round 16 or 17, because this is showcasing their defense again. But in this finals, they actually kind of crushed the first two maps on their defense side, despite playing, I mean, as Minnie's saying, maybe like not strategically.
Yeah, I think the irony with
setup.
the defense stuff is that on Pro, what I was showing, AG won 11-1 on that defense where I had all those problems. So it's like, who cares? Like,
yeah, but I think it's not just that they shoot better than XLG. XLG were making a lot of very silly mistakes across the series too. Like, I think that XLG is one of those teams that needs to stick to the script. Otherwise, they fall to pieces, in my opinion. AG is one of those teams, I think, here, this kind of stuff was really throwing people off. So they have just like a little bit to stop the first initial dive in. And then as the second dive in comes, they are flood defending with an op into sites. And this is really unusual Valorant. They're not doing all of the nice stuff that a lot of the very best teams are where they flood defend, where they like pressure early on and they fight over B main and then they fall back and stuff. But the very next round is pretty much the same on the other side of the map, if we can show that one too, which is round 17, I think, where it's over towards A. And again, there's a hard anchor in the site and they kind of stop the first wave of the attack a little bit. I mean, to some degree, there's like team flashes going on here as well, but you know, we'll ignore it a little bit. It's a bit scrappy and messy. But the point is, look, they've got this like op coming in and the bodies coming in and they're flooding in fast behind it. And I think this style is unusual enough that it will catch people off if they haven't done their prep against it. Because I think, you know, they've got a guy there ready to hold contact if you are going to try to just like walk into them. But if you run some kind of exec, they're literally just throwing themselves at you. And it becomes quite difficult to punish with the concept they play.
I think the interesting thing is, like, I've been following your thesis about this, you know, as academics, a thesis about flood defending being the new wave. You know, I still am resistant a little bit. I still think that flood defending is not what we should be doing all the time. I think as soon as you throw a game plan with some fakes against equal gamers, who cares that they're flooding? They'll be flooding the wrong side. Like, I think a good coach could dismantle this idea. Like they
get lost against BBL.
They don't play. They don't play in front of the neutral space, so they don't have information.
Yes, and I think that is the biggest problem because the best teams, the best teams are all fighting up early, so they grab that info, so they know what sites to stack in order to run the flood defenses. I agree with you. There's a massive hole in how they're playing, but the reality is that like, if you end up execing into the site that they have these bodies on, I think they're still going to be able to win rounds and like have big pop-off moments and stuff like that. Because it's not like every part of their game is shit. It's just unusually built. You know, they don't have those solid macro fundamentals that they then build stuff on top of. There's other very odd moments all over the place.
There's also like it tried to run those fakes. I think XLG on Pearl was trying that on their attack sometimes, where like they have a setup where they're deep up on Pearl. They have like one person behind the pillar as well, and they're trying to run a fake back over towards A. Like they'll use a dog to be able to clear that pillar to make sure that it's not a fake before, you know, confirming TPs and stuff. So like AG are aware that it's a mistake, like it's a gap in their game plan sometimes, and they have util to be able to counter that, because when fakes are trying to be run here, like Fang sometimes is also deep on Yoru angles as well, being able to TP back a bit earlier. Like they're playing maps like Pearl where they have a big gap in their like Sentinel midline a little bit, but they're cheating space on still other sides of the map and getting like crazy confident with their initial plays. Fakes I think could work on maps like Split or other maps where like I call them Gold 1, but all is like standing like anchored on some of these sides and wants to fast rotate. But maps where they have like more of a dynamic opper that can TP across the map without really relying on Fang's waylay as much, I think the fakes actually a little bit more difficult, and they have like stuff in their repertoire to be able to diffuse the fakes. They've done it a lot against at least that BO5 grand final.
I think on Pro specifically, that's why I didn't use the same quitter on Pro specifically. They do push the pillar, but won't. If you make noise the other side of the map, the protocol should be you push deeper for the deep line, and they don't. They just stand behind the pillar. I honestly, like I'm telling you, it's like a coach. Like my game plan would be to take the whole map off of them and to fake. Like I would be so confident going into these games.
There was a round where XLG tried it. I don't remember what round it was specifically, but
I do remember them trying it and they got caught off. That was more like 1 or 2 rounds.
Well, I remember XLG trying to run a fake on Pearl specifically, where they Yoru TP in on B, and AG think it's a fake, and they start running over towards A, and actually XLG had just beefed their Yoru ultimate, and just stood there and didn't do anything for the next 45 seconds and then ended up going back into B anyway. I think there's enough mistakes on the other side to not actually have a good idea of what Mini's talking about, because they are going to get tested by better teams here.
Oh, absolutely,
with, you know, that are more like thorough in terms of how their attacking approach goes. Because I don't know about you, but I feel like as soon as XLG go away from game plans, they kind of fall to pieces. I did just want to flip things over to the attack side though a little bit for all gamers, because I wanted to show an example of another thing that I think might catch people off guard, which is they run some slightly unusual compositions, right? Too. So one of them was these are not, by the way, the most unusual comps in China. We've already talked about the DRG Reyna that they run on multiple maps. BiliBili were running Gecko on Breeze, I think, but maybe they were running it somewhere else too.
In fact, BiliBili.
We'll leave BiliBili.
We'll be talking BiliBili later on. Don't worry, TV. EDG, we'll talk about them later. They're playing Harbor Phoenix on maps and you know, Phoenix Yoru Sage and stuff. So these guys are not playing crazy shit. But Haven round 19, Haven is not a map that they played a ton of. Ended up being the decider in the grand finals. But I think that they got some like stuff that, you know, is sensible here, that was putting a huge amount of pressure on how people normally play their like Haven. They're playing like I would describe it as an anti-meta comp, where the general idea for the normal composition when you're playing defense is that your C-site player is going to have, you're either going to be posted up with the op there that's going to be able to take early contact, or you're going to have turret there, you're going to have Viper orb there quite a lot of the time, or maybe the Viper wall too, depending on where you put it. And that player is going to be the hard target in a C-pop. But let's throw it up, Kurt. So this round, oh, sorry, Haven. Sorry, Kurt. I threw you off. I wanted Haven round 19. My bad.
No, you said Haven and I went to split. My bad. You literally typed Haven. My bad. 1 second.
But they're running a Yoru Waylay comp, right? Which I think is very difficult to get value out of on the defense side. But on the attack side can be pretty overwhelming. And I think that is where they seem to have some pretty nice ideas, AG, of being able to... They're pretty aggressive. They don't seem to have people baiting each other. GRQ seems to be able to like feel confident tossing his body into the line because he knows that Fangi is going to be able to clean stuff up quite often. And Kurt, you've gone to split again.
Okay,
I'm
so
being cosmically trolled.
Here's my excuse. I'm clicking. I'm on VLR. I'm clicking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's wrong. It's the wrong.
And
Yeah,
it's
you
going
need
to
to
the wrong
click
map, and then I'm like jump
instead
scare
of 5.
my...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no
pressure.
It is wrong. I ran into the same issue. Yes.
In the meantime, I just wanted to comment that I like that Haven comp. Like I'm surprised. I think because the Viper comp for Gen.G was so successful for Gen.G, everyone still is copying it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like because there isn't a defined map, like defined comp for other maps, people are like, oh, Yoru Waylay. And I'm like the AG have been like, well, why don't we just run the Yoru Waylay tier 2? Like I think it's actually probably better than the Viper comp, or at least the Gen.G Viper comp.
There's a lot of people playing the Gen.G Viper comp. I mean, there is no like established better option, I guess. Like Paper X are running something different. But
it's strange to me. The meta's quite obviously Yoru Waylay right now, or like a Waylay double Judas kind of vibe. And it's like everyone's shook their hands and been like, oh, Haven will just keep playing the thing that was good last year. And to me, it's kind of funny to see the logic. It's almost like, it's almost like, oh, this is the best and we have to do it, and not realizing that maybe it's not. I don't know. I'd like the comp, but I think that double Judas comp is if you're playing it across 6 other maps, like it makes sense to.
Kurt has informed me that we're ready. This is going to be the most underwhelming clip of all time. But yeah, the idea is they've got the Omen Smoke to be able to take some space. This is pretty early on in the round. If they're doing the C default to be able to gather orbs and stuff, they'll go in this direction as well. And I like this dash peeks over the Plat, and so you can see the guy at the back site. You have a bounce, hinder, and a flash to be able to take back site control. And I think that kind of stuff is going to be a little bit overwhelming for people to deal with. They do it again in another round where he does a high dash and spots out a player like flooding back in so that they can target somebody else.
I like the balls here to do the C default smoke and to actually commit with it, and just accepting that there's going to be a gap on the garage probably. I think that's pretty. I think that's why I focused on the defense mostly when I was critical. I think the attack side they'll be fine. Like they got double duelists, they're just gonna. They can send it like this is kind of cool. But yeah, that's one of the first times I've seen someone do a C default C default smoke and actually punish. Usually when people do C default smokes, it's obvious they're going to be playing slow for the next 60 seconds. Whereas that for sure is the kind of thing you need to be looking out for.
Yeah.
I like that honestly.
I quite liked it. Shall we move on to another team though? Let's
Yes.
talk XLG then. So XLG were your example of a fundamentally sound team in terms of the macro aspect.
Well, I wouldn't say strategic fundamentals. So
Okay,
like the
yeah.
fundamental ideas. I'm not saying every macro is good, all the setups are good, but like the underpinnings of using deep stars, using your Euro as like a babysitter, all the kind of, not
They look
running
like a
through
team
Viper
from another
orbs.
region. Was the
They
way
look like an EMEA team in a way.
they do, yeah. And
Which doesn't surprise me that
they have
got
done in the
Hoya.
past too, yeah. Voya's coaching normally makes this team have the more sensible macro setups.
I mean, the
compared
lore
to
here is that he was the IGL for Dirka and Cloud, and was coached by SOK, who was my assistant coach when we won loads of trophies. So it's like there's that you can see why that thinking is probably in the same vein. Unfortunately, I'm gonna glaze their thinking, and they're gonna lose every single game, and AG and EDG are gonna be smashing.
Well, they have the shooting factor though, right? Like two of their players, Happyway and
Sure,
No Man, are like genuinely you could say the two best in like China. Like you could genuinely have an argument for that. Like the value they provide for the team on certain rounds. Happyway can single-handedly just 4K and win against rifles anchored on a site, and No Man is getting like it's one of those trick questions again. Where would you rather clutch every round or guaranteed have a 3K like or a 2K? Like he's putting that curse into reality or that blessing into reality in the value that he gets as a player, even in execution. Like the way
I was more impressed by Raga than No Man. I think No Man is a potential not liability, but I see him more as like this. Like he's had massive pop-off maps and stuff. But to me, he's more like having to play second duelist because this is the meta, and being almost more like a Julgamo's sacrificial lamb vibe a lot of the time to me. I know he had those good games.
He still finds value every time, which is cool because Jog sometimes will get the space but not the kills. But No Man for some reason will.
I'm saying I would argue that the two best players easier Raga and.
I would agree in terms of shooting. I thought Raga's, apart from their preset beginning barrier gate crashes, I think Raga's got some of the worst Yoru util, and he just shoots people.
Yeah,
dude, I'm looking at some of the earlier games, admittedly, rather than the grand final. The grand final, I think they came in with extremely good game plans, and so he was sticking to the game plan more so. Early in this tournament, and maybe that's a good sign because it might mean that they've improved it over time, but early in the tournament, I'm watching some of the worst secondary gate crashes. Like, after you've used your first one, immediately throwing it 2 centimeters away from you and doing nothing with it. And that, and then the amount of team flashes coming out from Raga as well when things get a bit more chaotic is, but then I'm seeing that a lot, to be honest, CB on EDG was throwing out some heinous ones.
Dude,
I think that is like the interesting thing is like, although I'm positive about XLG, I noticed the same thing about the second gate crashes a few times. I was like, wait, he's just immediately, there's no pressure. He has deep space. He just immediately puts it out. Like there's wait 5-10 seconds at least.
And the first gate crash even if he's in a safe position where, even if he wasn't playing Yoru, right? If he was playing like Raze or something, he would be able to get away. But he doesn't. He gate crashes immediately off instant pressure as well, which I think you can just be like, the best players are so much greedier with that stuff, right? They're like, I'm not going to take my gate crash right now because it's only 1:30 in the round. I'm gonna maybe even take a repeat, or I'm gonna back up to the next angle, and then when I'm properly under pressure. So, but boy, he can shoot. Like he really can shoot.
His aim is like. There was a round where I just ran around and got 4K on bind attack, and I remember just being. I rewatched it a couple of times because it was like the way he moves his mouse is just. That sounds so pathetic, but it's honestly beautiful. Like he like actually plays Valorant in a way that's like when those like sports writers talk about like tennis and they're like, oh yeah, the serve from Federer, like his backhand's literally crafted from it's like a Greek sculpture, like it's just like honestly his aim was like phenomenal. So like when I say he's best player, like I'll be honest, I just presume that the coaching staff has given them some like decent opener and stuff, and then like. In this matter, maybe the other things could be improved, but ultimately, if he's running around shooting his gun like he is, like it's exciting, I guess. That's going to be the difference, I think.
Because for me, when I watch, you kind of already touched on it a bit, Josh. Like when I'm watching XLG, I feel like if they just do a simple thing, like off the rip, it looks pretty good. But when they like have to do something else or come up with some idea, and I think EDG suffer a bit from this as well, like. It seems a little chaotic and lost. To me, I was at one point just watching rounds and being like, watch them, and I was like in my head thinking, well, if they run a fast exit, they'll win, and if they try and like move around the map and condition this and you move there and then we'll go here. Like then they just get lost and end up losing. But I think of the 3 Chinese teams, they're the one that I hope does well, because the others, I don't want to see Valorant turn into that. I want to see Valorant turn into at least XLG. I can see like, okay, you're playing Whaler Yoru a fair amount, and quite a fair amount of time. They are just grouping up maybe and doing an exec, but like they fundamentally look decent at their execs. They seem to know what they're doing most of the time. I think the difference for XLG, and this has been true in the past, right? Because we've come into tournament. I remember, Josh, didn't you rate like Raga second or something going into one of these tournaments? Like, because he was absolutely going crazy.
He was going utterly bonkers before Bangkok, maybe?
I think it was for Toronto.
Toronto, maybe?
Was it Toronto?
Raga, yeah.
Right.
Like Raga, like Happyweight actually is like, if you look at his numbers, like they are way up there. But like for me, if Raga, because then what happened for XLG in those tournaments is that he didn't reach that level. And I think that they're going to need, like, they have a decent base, but they're going to also need like Raga and Happyway to be like, like their actual best versions, I think, to do well. Because XLG, as I know from last year, teasing you about it, your little shitty team didn't do anything last year, your little Chinese pet, whereas mine, have you ever won international games? Have you tried? Have you bothered XLG?
They did.
Winning
XLG did all right at champs, no?
Oh, give me a break.
I mean, am I wrong in saying they eliminated Sentinels from champs?
Where
That's
were
the
Wolves
reason
at
why we're
champs?
talking about Kaplan being fired right now.
I mean,
Sorry, the farmer didn't pay his debts for once. Sen finally lost to a Chinese team.
another weakness I think for XLG though on attack specifically, I think is the op. Like when they're working their slower defaults on for space on the map, they have a lot of tools to combat ops as well, but they don't use them. Sometimes they cheat space. Sometimes you have like a jet running in and challenging an angle fast with knives. I think there's a moment on Breeze against YZ in the BLG game where like No Man just is it No Man who was playing Jet? Yeah, he just comes in with knives and like disrespects door, and YZ whiffs the op. I don't think Lover's Rock is missing that shot. I don't think some of the better operas globally are going to be missing. And in the Pearl game specifically as well, a lot of their attack just gets stopped by like double outlaws and scopes specifically, like scopes on an off timing as well. And I went back to some of their older games to be like, okay, was this like a one-off in the best of 5 between both these teams? And the other games they won against EDG and Wolves, the matches happened so fast. There was only ever like one op round, and there was like nothing the team could do, the enemy team could do to really get another op activated or get a streak online to have the op always on. So they got a 13-5 and 13-6 their way past like scoping rounds, avoiding CB or Kong, avoiding like the op from the Wolves side. But when this op is actually active online, it just somehow decimates this team in approach because they're kind of slow at the very start and they don't use enough util, even though they have prowlers, they have flashes, they have dashes. They kind of run into these scopes time after time. So I feel like on an international stage where the meta is very scopy, where you have these guns guaranteed set up on these sight lines, that's a big problem. There's also gaps on the map sometimes in mid where like I think they had this round where they had a Viper's Pit in A main on Breeze as well against BLG, it might have been. And like mid is completely open. There was like a 30-second time window where anybody could just walk through. Like nobody from top mid the op was like exploring elbow or something, but like their mid gap was so huge, and like it was either it was them not exploring it or people not exploring it on them. So either way, there's like gaps for this team when it comes to like just that slow play in the very beginning or like set ideas that I think are easily anti-able, and at the same time just on basic protocols for opping, it's going to be trouble internationally is all I'm saying with how some of the teams play with their ops.
It's funny because when I was watching them play all of the Chinese teams, actually, just in general on maps like Abyss and Breeze, I was thinking these are the maps where they're probably going to have more success at the international level because they can control the map at the start with rifling rather than with like, you know how on Pearl, like whether you win or lose the A main brawl can matter so much, and that can come down to a lot of like how your players specifically understand the micro adjustments that you have to make from a round to round basis. Whereas on these maps, you can just play a little slower at the start and control things with your guns. But yeah, running into the ops could be
it stops them, man. It's because you look at some of the VLR stuff, you look at the streaks they have on like attack that gets stopped down, and the defensive side just has like a giant wall you can't cross by. It's because the scope just gets online, and then they start to make a few fundamental errors, try to switch things up. The scope switches sides. At the same time, there are some bad protocols with some smoke, like with some oppers. I want to talk about EDG in a minute and how they approach their op, you know, and
Please
I
go
think
to
the
EDG.
Yeah, let's talk about him.
Yeah, sure.
Wait,
for
can
it.
I ask one question quickly before
Yeah,
you do?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you feel XLG should have won that game against All Gamers? I thought that Haven
Gamers?
was the Haven, at least I thought XLG should have won, and they lost like 4v2s and stuff.
Oh, I was losing my
They lost some
fucking
nightmare
mind,
rounds at the end.
I was losing
There
my
was
mind.
that
watching
round,
this
I think,
game.
where like they get a pick on the smoker on the opposite team, and like Rarga is up online, like in I think it was window, and like could have easily just won the round.
It's
where,
round
like,
21. Yeah.
yeah, and then like you have what's it called? You have like a site smoke that comes in for like to help like the solo anchor on site. I think Leo at the time, but it actually ends up bad because he's playing in front of the smoke. It gives the enemy team a chance to come in against the op, and then it's like a 2v4 where like people are. I think XLG got scared of their nerves. They just scaled
I think
so
it's nerves.
slowly, so weird.
I think it's
like,
nerves. It was horrid. Like this. Yeah,
like right
no
here,
man.
this is perfect. So amazing
Yeah, go
line. Like you're gonna get this long shot easily, and like you have one player on short that's vibing. Like maybe the short guy's playing a bit too deep, but you just want to play numbers at this point, and maybe fast forward afterwards, trade properly. The op shot comes nicely. Over here, Sova can just back off completely, wait for the boys, help Raga with the angle from max height. This smoke comes in, and now Rarga's like, I can never repeak. I have no support to repeak again. And suddenly, it's like we still have numbers on one side. It's a 2v4. And I mean, TMV, you're the best at Rage Ran, so you can take over from here. Like,
well, I watched this round and I made a short about it, about Noman Yoru cloning on Killjoy here in a second. Because, I mean, it's just... I mean, but this is AG. You want to know how AG play? This is how they play. They win fucking 2v4s. Oh, dear. On my Neon with the op. And then watch this from Noman. Where's he going?
yeah.
And then the camera, I fucking love the camera. I'm checking it. Oh, they short.
But this is, I think rounds like this happen at the end of a BO5 where everything's on the line.
Yeah, man.
I don't, because this happened as well on Abyss. Abyss had some weird as fuck moments. That was map 4 too. And so I think this is a case of nerves going up and making the quality of play go down rather than like you're getting this all the time from these guys. But the nerves did affect XLG.
I hate that Gen.G Viper rule, and if they used the orb instead of the wall, they would have orbed. They wouldn't have walled up because they were not walling up there because of the AWP line, and then they had to wall up late, and the guy died from short. If that was an orb,
But also, he
They
did
would've won the
re-peek
round.
short instead of waiting for the help smoke.
oh, did he
and just
re-peek
play-
short? Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah,
part.
he
I
just
mean,
died.
presumed
That's
that-
Instead of tucking default and waiting for the smoke, he like takes the fight instead.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think
that
he had
fucks
time.
Rarga.
Okay,
I mean,
never mind.
there's rounds too where they're like a 3A start, but they never adjust the Viper wall to like help the other side of the map with like, you know, the C cut into garage as well, like the diagonal wall to like buy time. So like they're playing on top of their util twice, and like then a C hit happens and you're praying for that wall. Happyway has to like early entry to try to do his magic. Sometimes XLG just win because shooting matters and fundamentals aren't a real thing. Academically sourced, by the way. Like it's insane, man.
Let's talk EDG though as well. So Shayo, you wanted to get onto the EDG point because you wanted to talk about how their upper plays. But just to set up a bit of context, if you're not familiar with EDG, you might be like, wait, who the hell are playing for the squad even anymore? I mean, we didn't even run through necessarily some of the XLG changes that they made since last year because they've got a new IGL and everything. But EDG have famously struggled to replace Simon, the guy who got them to such a winning position in 2024 champs. And we covered the crash out, we covered GNE coming back in, then they had HFMI ZJC, and now they've settled onto a guy called CB, who's got his own controversies floating around as well, but we'll stick to the gameplay stuff for this episode. He's one of the roughest players to watch, I think. I still don't think that they found their answer with this guy. Am I wrong though? I feel like I'm watching Raga and he's like throwing shit all over the place, and then I'm watching CB and I'm like, bro, you're doing the same thing, but you're missing the shots that Raga would hit. It's not good out here.
Go ahead.
Like, was he like? I don't know much about this guy, but when I looked at his just VLR page, I was like, he's played 16 out of 19 games on Yoru, I guess, with EDG at this point. Like they picked up a non-Yoru player.
Nobody. My theory is nobody knows how to play Yoru in China.
No,
and it should have been Kang, but he
this
doesn't
is my
want
point,
to.
Josh. This was my point.
Oh, and he tried at the end of last year, and then he failed. I guess
This is exactly the same as Aspas. like they missed the boat, and it is fucking costing their teams right now.
Yeah.
Like if Kankan could play Yoru, because when I'm watching him pick up an op on Pearl, right, and I'm watching him hit some nice shots, and I'm thinking, well, this should be your fucking game plan. Just get this guy the up every fucking single round, obviously. Like what you did back in the past when you were buying it on round 3 and shit. That should be what you're doing right now. And I'm watching some rounds where this guy coming in from Nova Esports who were shit and are still shit, that guy comes into your team is opping above Kankan.
Yeah.
Make that make fucking
Wait,
sense
wait.
because Kankan can't play Yoru.
But
Like,
also, I think Kankan in this meta should also be able to carry by running around with a rifle on Neon. Which
True.
you can't necessarily say about Aspas, because Aspas, while he is a good Neon, doesn't go zoom hard entry and then you have an opera in the back. So like EDG could make it work, but also Kankang's Neon isn't taking over to the same degree you need it to when you've got CB putting out.
Why don't they just put like okay? I love Yoru, and I've always been like Jet is awful kind of guy. Even back when Jet was kind of busted, I was like more on the Raze train back then. But option 1 is just put him on Jet every map and just have him AWP. Like every map. And then the other option,
they put him on Chamber and Haven as well.
Chamber-
But it feels so
Chamber-
restricted.
Chamber Haven stuff was a bit better, but
It was a bit better with the op side, but I also feel like sometimes I'm like, he feels restricted though. You know, he's lurking.
They also put him on
It's like-
Phoenix on Corrode.
Oh, don't get me fucking started on Phoenix Corrode. Don't get me fucking started. In fact, Kurt, you don't need to watch any VODs. Pull up his fucking stats. Because I started by looking at EDG and just looking at Kankang's stats. It's unbelievable. Why the fuck is this guy playing on fucking Phoenix? Look at his stats. Look at how fucking hard he drops off. And the same is true on ISO. They were putting him on ISO on Haven at the start.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
And they got rid of that, thankfully, because it was fucking dog shit. But they're sticking with this fucking Corrode idea, and I fucking hate it. There's so much about this team that I do not like right now. But so much of my thing was focused on Kankang. Once I started watching their VODs, I was just like, I'm just watching for Kankang at this point. Can this guy improve? Because you know what? He has a below 1 rating. I was fucking shocked by that. When has Kankang in China ever had a below 1 rating before? That's fucking insane. But to me, it just shows like they don't know like what to do right now. They're trying to like figure out, and it doesn't suit them at all.
There's 2 agents he has above 1 rating on.
Are they Jet and Chamber by any chance, Minnie?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there you
There's
go.
an obvious
Exactly.
answer. If they put him on Jet Chamber every map, I think they could do.
Yeah, but
like,
imagine
quite
like
a
he would
bit
just
of
be
damage.
so good. I just feel like we've been robbed. The viewer has been robbed if Aspas and Kankan could play Yoru. Because you look at like some of the numbers that like those players are putting up. You know, your Martins and Koala Noobs and whatever. Like numbers wise, you know, that's a role that like you're meant to excel in numbers, right? Because it's set up for you. And I just feel like Kankang and Aspas would be absolutely frying numbers wise if they were on those roles right now. And I feel like we've been robbed.
I think I'm at a different stage of. I'm at acceptance, and you're still in
I'm
grief.
not Minnie. I'm not.
Like
I'm
because
not.
I was molding about this for like the past. As soon as Yoru was obviously the best and everyone was running it, it was like obvious that these two. Like to me, that's the interesting thing about Aspas too. It's like I don't really understand what it is about them that. I think I'm coming to the conclusion that there's something about defense and the way they move on the sites that they want to be able to do with agents like Jet that they can't do with Yoru. Like you can't go into these weird angles and you can't as easily. And then attack side, they obviously just get to dive in a little bit stupidly.
Just to quickly, because I wanted to bring this round up as a kind of unrelated point, but this was kind of EDG struggling like XLG. If you just skip this round back a bit, Kurt. In terms of like EDG, they're doing an A split this round on Pearl. This is actually the round that I think they lose the map on, and it felt like to me, anytime they encountered something that they weren't like fully prepared for, they don't know what to do, right? So there's gonna be an Odin here that you see just absolutely just starts destroying them. They don't ever like fully push back sight here, and they just don't know what to do with this Odin. They're all just running around, dying to it one by one, and they like don't know how to approach it. I felt like there was quite a few rounds like that. But also, one point I need to make about EDG, because I do think that the op is so important for them, is that they start these rounds off, they start these halves off, shit. They are shit at the start of rounds. Their pistols are shit. Their second round conversions, when they do win pistols, are also shit. Their pistol round win rate is 40%. And then they're also losing a fair amount of their second rounds as well. So it's only about 30% of the time that they end up in a good position, right, to start a half. And I think if you're a team that, in my opinion, should be just leaning heavy on one guy having an op, you can't be starting off with 70% of your halves. You know, you're on the back foot. You can't, it's not as easy to op because you're losing pistols. I think they lost 6 out of 8 in this one. But then if you go through all their games, like apart from the one game against DRG, I think where they win all of them. Apart from that game, I think they're pretty tragic at pistols in general. Did they lose all of them in this game?
They have like
do.
this
They
weird
actually won
second
some
round
second
like
round there.
eco conversion though if they lose pistols.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
They did
they
against Tyloo.
convert a lot of second rounds, but they also lose quite a few of their own as well. So
Yeah.
it's well, that's just maybe just China.
Yeah, it's a weird situation with both CB and Kong Kong. Like also like we talked about like sharing the op. There's a round on split where like they start the op off on B main. Minnie was talking about the babysitter Yoru like putting one person in a position. Kong Kong's just there like being the babysitter instead of Yoru being the babysitter and then TPing off. And then when the A hit happens, because there's not actually something happening in B, like EDG are playing defense, CB has the teleport that's in screens but chooses to run with Kong Kong like the op is a Venom symbiote and he can't get him off, like off of him. He runs with Kong Kong to rope and then teleports, wasting like 10 seconds. And in those like 5 to 7, 10 seconds, their CT smoke hasn't dropped yet from the attack side. He could have been online with the op. He just gets there. He has a millisecond to scope in and the smoke pops in front of him. He sees a body and he whiffs. Where it's like, if you just have the most basic like Yoru game plan going on with his utility, even just in defensive gate crashes, guys.
I think
like,
they're the worst with it. I definitely think EDG are the worst with it.
But then it's like Kong Kong will want the op sometimes. It's his turn to wear the suit. Like, CB's went through withdrawal. He doesn't know what to do without the op. But it's like it's a neon on split with the op. It's like, man, what are we doing? There is good stuff though, TMV. Like the fans of the crazy Kong Kong, the one that you were waiting to watch, he's opping on attack and it's looking good. I know it's Chinese teams and they're going a bit crazy on the defensive side, but like that stuff still exists. It's just some of the stuff here, man, the turns they take, I think it got better overall. Like once they made some Haven changes, like yes, you can have chamber ulting and an op online as well. It's crazy. Both people can be happy. But it's some of the overlap and some of the Yoru mismanagement on the util, I think might eat these guys up, even if they can shoot.
Let's move away from. Well, we didn't touch on the crazy comps that they play, but who knows if they're gonna continue playing the Phoenix compositions. But listen, go and take a look at their Bind VLR pages and their Corrode VLR pages. Corrode one we've seen other teams play, but Harbor, new Harbor when it's buffed, coming out maybe by EDG, could go crazy. And I think
we don't need to spend long on BLG, Josh.
I don't think we should even discuss BLG necessarily.
Can I just say one thing, just so that people understand BLG? They play 6 maps. They permaban Corrode. They play Breach on 3 of them and Gecko on Breeze. That's all you need to know about this team. They don't know what they're.
But also, they probably would have won if they had their full 5.
Yeah.
It went to 5 with
I don't think Bianca was all that bad, and I think Bianca like anchored more, which mattered as well. Where like K-Knight actually has that rotate happen a lot more often, and like I think their attack got worse, but their defense got better with Bianca. In my opinion,
I don't know. K-Knight was kind of frying in the games that I watched before.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was bad by any means, but like, I think in protocol, like there were moments I think in that final game where like Bianca's is crazy, like Sheriff 3K anchored. He's sending a lot of info for the team as well, and like it was happening on split too. But there's other moments on split where like the team looks absolutely lost on attack. And in previous times, like when K-Knight's on the team, his fade util usage and it's just in general, I think the team's comfortability with having the 5, they're more like intentional with what they want to do. And in these BO5s after K-Knight's gone, there was a little bit of a confidence loss with the players rolling in with the 4.
I feel for them because it looked like they had a great chance to qualify. They turned the ship around massively as well because during the offseason and the beginning of Kickoff, they looked terrible. And so they actually managed to pick things back up and look good again. And obviously, I actually haven't seen an update on this, but wishing the best to K-Knight because, he ended up having to go to hospital for tachycardia, I think it was. And then I don't know whether they found some kind of arrhythmia or something, but I'm looking at a Weibo announcement that I unfortunately don't understand. So yeah, it's an onset of arrhythmia with abnormal heart rate. So, but I didn't see an update as to whether or not everything's been dealt with properly, but I hope everything's fine and wish him the best.
I think the story about BLG is more about EDG scraping through the lower bracket and barely being a team with a sub who's also playing double initiator or breach on, I think if they had their 5, they have a better chance. But if they don't play breach, they also have a much better chance. So, yeah.
Well, we've got to end China there because we're already over time and we have power rankings and
we
top 10 players
perfectly on
left.
time without Sen.
Can I leave it with? Can I leave it with? This is the best meta possible for China, despite our negativity.
Okay, this is the best meta possible for China, despite
If macro is the
okay.
least important thing in the meta right now, which I would say it's the least it's ever been, and shooting is the most important it's ever been, this is the best
True.
meta for China.
Okay.
Do you also makes it unpredictable? So good luck with the
Yeah, so
power
good luck in the next 2 segments. I'm
yeah. Well, Mini and Shayo are not coming back later on. TMV is. So Mini and Shayo, I just wanted to ask you: is there a Chinese player that you would expect to see in the top 10 or top 15 or something like that?
I put Happy
Yes.
Way in mine, and then I
Okay.
put Kong Kong in as my 15th pick, like I did Aspas at Champs, just because
Nice.
you know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Happy
Legacy
Way's in
pick.
my top 10, and then Fang is on my 15th slot as well.
Okay.
Well-
Yeah, Fang's been playing super well. All right. Well, there's a little teaser for everybody. I think the top 10 lists are going to be
It's gonna be crap.
completely different this year. I think people's lists are going to be all over the place though.
Dami number one. Dami number one.
I got W number 1 too.
Let's go.
All right. Well, let's take a short break. We're going to swap people out. We're going to get all 3 of these guys gone and bring in 3 new people for the power rankings and opening match predictions. We're bringing in Achilios, Sliggy, and me.
See you guys.
Goodbye, everybody. I hear a Seth. And we're going to start with our power rankings, and then we're going to go into predicting the opening matches. To be honest, to some degree, the opening matches, you should be able to infer what the predictions are based on where we put them in the power rankings, but you never know. There might be some mix-ups.
We could do.
And then we're
them
gonna
in,
boot
I'm sure there will
Achilios
be
out as
plenty
well.
of disagreement throughout.
Oh, yeah.
We could switch the order of those segments if you want to do the picking first and then the power rankings. I just threw it in there.
Yeah, I think it might make more sense, to be honest, because
Okay. Let's do it.
I think we'll basically just end up following the power rankings for the predictions.
Oh, dude, you guys. I mean, I guess not because you've been live, but 27 minutes ago, they tweeted like a music video for Santiago, and they animated it, and they did what I've always wanted them to do, which is just basically include moments from the players.
Oh,
So,
really?
like the first clip is like Jing's satchel ice wall set up on Sunset that they wrecked Fnatic with at Toronto. And then it's got Alpha's ace on Lotus where he like drops down and has like the knife and everything.
Oh, they
It's
did
really
this
sick.
for they did this for another event as well. Was it for Bangkok? Because they were showing it was like it was the best plays of champs because it included Mako's play and it also included
Oh yeah.
the Guardian play from the end of Abyss against Heretics. EDG.
Yeah,
against
you're right. I
Heretics.
forgot about that one. This one,
But
this
yeah,
one looks super sick.
Bro, Alpha missing Santiago. That's actually tragic. Him being in the video.
Yeah, he's in the video. And then I think YZ is also in the
YZ, yeah, also missing out. We were just talking about that. Feels like his team probably should have been able to make it, but unlucky.
No, yeah, I was hoping.
Hello.
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 Oh,
I just shoveled 14 inches of snow.
Okay.
good.
It is the most
Well-
I've never seen anything approaching this in Philadelphia. We got the biggest snowstorm since I've lived here, 3 weeks ago, and then we got double that today.
I'm so jealous.
Barla was in
It's
the chat
really
saying that
nice.
he's snowed in at the moment as well, so he doesn't have anything to do today, so he's watching
Yeah.
Plat chat.
Pretty much
Well-
all of the East Coast is just cooked with snow. Or I guess the Northeast, but the rest of Florida, Georgia, that shit doesn't matter.
Did we? Ah, man, it got. We had like a warm snap. I don't know what you would call the inverse of a cold snap, but yeah, we had like a heat wave. I guess is what I'm looking for. Come in, and it's just it's screwed everything. So I haven't been able to go on a third snowboarding trip, and now I fly to Santiago in.
Isn't there?
19
I mean, I
hours?
know it's
Oh
summer
no,
there,
my steak
but
is too juicy, my lobster's too buttery.
Really?
I can't go on my third
my
snowboarding
fudge.
trip and I'm off to Chile. Oh no.
I'm sorry. Like, if you have a hobby, do you not like doing it multiple times? Like, if you were
It's
knitting, if you were into knitting, and you're like, oh, but I can't make the second sock. I must stop.
Because it's too
here." Like,
warm.
Isaiah, that's on you for your hobby choices, if anything. Yeah, knitting you
wait,
can
it's
do
just
anywhere.
the fucking weather was unpredictable, and it just decided to get
what are
way,
your
way
hobbies,
sooner
Sliggy?
than usual.
Hobbies?
He
You
watches
got
Valorant.
fish.
Watching
He
games,
watches
playing games.
Valorant.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
These are good hobbies.
one more hobby. Name one more hobby, Sliggy.
Oh, that's a rough one.
You like the gym,
Might have
right?
to come back here next week. Yeah, gym. Does that count?
Gym's a hobby. I can accept that. Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
Do you treat it as a hobby, or do you treat it as something necessary to keep yourself going to watch more Valorant?
I'm trying to. Honestly, I treat it as I'm sitting down for so long. I need to make sure that I don't cause myself too much long term. It's more just like physio of trying to make sure my lower back and my
Sure.
knees.
That's
everything
a
works.
very
So
healthy choice.
so it's not a hobby. So your third hobby is not a hobby. It's necessary for survival. Thank you, Mimi, for the clarification. Appreciate you.
But there's a bit of weights in there
Digging in there.
sometimes, so it is like slight hobby. It's a mix
Alright.
of both.
Let's start with predictions. We were going to start with the power rankings and just dig straight in, but I think it's better to go for the predictions first. Get a feel for where people are at, and then we can dive into the power rankings and get your guys' opinions on how all of the regions match up, and hear from you all on China as well, which we just discussed for a while. Okay, so what's the opener? Okay, opening match: Gentle Mates versus EDG.
Dude, I'm so worried for all of these. there's a chance we've all gone for the same on every single one, is it not?
It
think
is
there's a pretty good
possible.
I don't think
chance.
every single one, but I thought I
really?
knew that this one was going to be a guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, General Mates look really good, though. I mean, this one does have the volatility of just like, lots of new players turning up to the big stage, and I don't know, anything can happen at a global event, I guess.
It's new players, and EDG have maybe opted in for some of the stuff that has been buffed. At least Harbor's in for Santiago, so they could be one of the first to implement it. If they're already thinking that old Harbor was okay, the buff they added to Harbor was insane. So they might actually just try and implement it.
Maybe you heard the word Harbor and died.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah,
of
I
there.
had to run away because that EDG bind Harbor game was.
Yeah, but dude, they plan so well now because Harbor's good. So
Yeah,
But what
maybe.
if-
Yeah,
if
that's
now
why they
it's
picked the
buffed,
comp. Let's go, EDG.
They just lean away from it. Like they
Yeah.
just don't play it anymore.
Yeah.
They just completely have reworked everything.
Let's go into our next game then. Maybe this one will also be a guarantee. Let's see if Sliggy's right. It's XLG versus NRG, world champs, and we've gone for them. We've gone all four of us for NRG there for any of our audio listeners. Are you concerned about this one at all? XLG do have some of the better game plans coming out of China.
I'm more concerned about this one than the other one. I don't.
Yeah.
I think Genomates will be fine against EDG. This one, I'm like, just because NRG play not meta stuff at the moment, and they've kind of been struggling a little bit in their region, and I'm not sure their region's like the best at double duelists.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like a little worried. But I also haven't watched so much China, so I'm just sleeping on China. I'm only watching if China have like two teams that look good, then I'll start watching China.
Okay.
I think the thing for NRG is they like showed in Americas that they can lose games if someone just comes in with a really good game plan against them and kind of snowballs them. I think the G2 game is a great example. They change up their comps. They go for this really hyper aggressive double duels. NRG struggled to adapt, could not get back into that game. It was an absolute stomp. But I think that where a team like G2 and a team like XLG differ is I think that G2 in that match did a really good job of having the next step. When NRG called a timeout, they had like their next little thing ready to show to kind of keep the snowball going. I feel like, and you guys talked a lot about this in the China segment, but XLG is a team that is very much like they come in with a set plan, they have to stick to that very well, and when they go off and do their own thing, it gets very messy very quickly. And when it does get messy like that, I first of all trust NRG more to adapt, and also just think the individuals are good enough to go bar for bar and be able to hold on in that kind of circumstance. But I also don't necessarily think there is going to be some magic bullet game plan necessarily that comes in and can smite NRG, because I'm really hoping that they're going to take a look at some of their stuff and actually come in with some new ideas for Santiago, because they do have a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah, true. Let's hop into the next game then. Next one, very hotly anticipated. G2 versus Paper Rex. G2 Paper Rex can't be a guarantee. Oh, and it's not at all. There we go.
Thank
Love
God.
to see
All
that.
right.
Very
It's
good.
a straight 50-50, which for any audio listeners, it's Achilios and Sliggy who've gone for Paper Rex, with myself and Mimi going for G2. But I felt like this one was a bit of a coin flip. I didn't know who to pick. I definitely felt like there was a world in which I could have changed my mind. So Do we all agree that it feels like a 50-50 game, even though you've chosen one of the teams here, or is anyone more confident, like pretty damn confident?
Nah, I'm pretty 50-50. Oh, you are?
All right, okay. Give me the pitch for Paper X then, because they qualified lower than G2 did, but it's it's not that much lower.
I mean, like Paper X. I mean, they squared off against each other at Toronto. Paper X. They're just gonna dog walk them, dude. Like they're just gonna run them down. They're gonna absolutely pound them. I mean, you got the unk off that's gonna happen here as well. You've got Devi going up against BiliBili. BiliBili's like the fucking 95-year-old at the retirement home, and like Devi is like just freshly checked in. They're arguing over the last slice of pumpkin pie, and he's about to get the fucking walker up over his head, and he's gonna just beat the shit out of BiliBili, dude. Like it's not even gonna be close. They're just gonna destroy
to be
him.
clear, they're in their late 20s here, folks. He's talking about somebody in their late 20s.
No?
I mean, I guess it's not all that uncommon
Yeah.
for someone in their late 20s to be an uncle if you have siblings,
Yeah.
which is required to be an uncle. What the
Yeah, but
fuck am I
do you
saying?
need a walker? Do you need a walker? That's what he's talking
No.
about. They're at the old person's retirement.
I just latched onto the complete wrong idea there. Here's the thing. Let me put on my Shio wager hat for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest enemy of oneself is themselves. Paper X have always been a great team. They've always been one of the best teams in Valorant. They've always been themselves. No one's been like them. They've had their own identity. G2, their arch rival. They play every global event. It's been back and forth. Paper X has been winning recently, but G2 had their run in the past. They've been the boring team, the bench team, the fucking double controller, solo duelist, play the macro every round, sleeper team, abuse the meta. Now, they're a new team. They are Paper X. They're stealing their comps. They're doing their shit. They're doing double duelists. They're running it down. They're fighting. The only way G2 can regain their glory and beat Paper X is by being Paper X, because Paper X is the only person that can beat Paper X.
Okay.
It's cinema.
I mean, yeah, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So therefore, if I'm my own enemy, then I'm also my own friend. So Paper X are just gonna use that power, and then they're gonna turn it around, and they're gonna go crazy. And Jason Susanto is gonna come out and he's gonna drop another 35, playing. I don't know what does he have left? Viper and like Reyna. He'll just play Reyna, and he's just gonna shit on them.
That if he comes out and plays Gecko, I'm actually gonna lose faith in.
Oh yeah, that might be
totally
the other one he's
Valorant.
gotta play.
But yeah,
I mean, the
if
new
he
Gecko
comes out and
buff.
drops 30.
But it's not out yet.
New Gecko buff, he could pick things up quicker. Yeah.
No, the new
and
Gecko buff's
grab his
decent with a molly.
It's all right. It's all
Right,
right.
it's not bad, dude. Imagine it with a harbor smoke that you can reinforce, so you can actually do like good mollies and pick them up.
Yeah, people are gonna get fucking flash re-cleared while they're scrabbling on the floor to try to pick up mosh pit.
Yeah, good. You went on the other side with a judge, man. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
You
this
gotta
is the
think in
Sliggy
levels.
school of coaching.
You gotta think in levels right here. I think this should be a banger though. But I do think the Paper X, like if they should be so ready for. Yeah, I know that I watched like a lot of the Americas stuff, and they're like, oh, G2, like in reinventing the wheel. Like, no, dude, this is how everyone in Pacific plays. Like, surely Paper X will be fine for this style. Like they're just playing like they're first of all they're copying their own comps. So they've seen them, and the other thing they're doing is playing Danby cosplay, and they played against Danby, and no one can replicate what Danby does.
Yeah, they did. They did not beat Danby though. So
True.
Well, that was
Yeah,
when they were
that's-
in the dip. Right now, they're on the come up.
they're on the
Like,
come up.
it's-
Okay.
Yeah, it's been good.
I like the faith. I'm down for it. I could be sold on a Paper X victory. Absolutely. Let's move on to our next game though. I think the next game's a good one too. T1 plays against Team Liquid. A clash of Pacific against EMEA. And we've all gone for T1.
Sliggy, you little conniving bastard.
Well, what am I meant to do?
Okay,
here,
hold
bro?
up. What's going on here?
What am I meant to do here?
What do you mean? What are you meant to do? You work for Team Liquid. I thought for sure that this would not be a guarantee because of that fact. You are pulling a Jover right now.
I'm not, dude. Liquid aren't good at 3 maps. They had a fast fix. There's not enough time, dude. I'm not saying they're gonna get wrecked, but they're gonna have to pull out another miracle like they did against Fnatic, and I'm not sure they've got that in them.
I think T1 looked good as well. We were talking a couple of weeks back of like, none of us really feel like we know exactly where T1's at, and I think they proved it at the end of the tournament that they're a team to watch. I really like what I saw from them towards the end of Kickoff.
I only
Feeling
like
confident about them.
I only like the RRQ game, to be honest. I didn't like anything
Sure,
else.
but the RRQ game was
RRQ
so
game was good. Yeah, yeah, it was
from
good.
T1. I watched that game and I was like, holy shit, T1 might be the truth. Because if you think about this team, I feel like they have all the right pieces to thrive in this kind of meta. T1 has always been a team that's like very good at having like nice, well put together micro plays. They have very insane like second entry and anchor players in Meteor and Munchkin, who were both in like ridiculous form in that match. And then you have Izu, who I think just looks so comfortable and confident on this this Yoru, is taking the right risks, is fitting into the kind of the space that Buzz is always making for him when he's playing the Neon well. And they just have really great game plans. The synergy and the team fighting was, I think, just a clear cut above RRQ in this game. And obviously, historically, this is the team that like won last year by being the one squad that believed in like double duelists and just playing together and defining their own style and making the micro set plays work and not worrying as much about having like some big brain macro idea overall. That's the exact meta we're in. And I think when I watched that game, I felt like in a lot of ways I was watching not necessarily the T1 that won, but actually it felt really similar to me to the Gen.G that won Shanghai in a lot of the way that they were playing together. And I don't know. I just feel something brewing with this team. The players are in form.
Two of those
This
pieces
is the
as well, so.
perfect tournament, the perfect meta for T1 to do something silly again.
I love a little silly T1 victory. At least it looks more likely this time than Bangkok.
Yeah, this time I could actually see them winning, so they'll of course go out and Swiss.
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's.
This is guaranteed.
I mean, Liquid could just, like Sliggy said, they could pull a miracle out because they have been miracle workers. This squad have been miracle workers. I mean, I think we need to check if he's been conduit, like some level of conduit for a god out there. Because whatever he touches, he fixes. Every time he gets into bind, he's doing the Lord's work. It is crazy.
The uptick, well, actually, that's not even true. So, never mind. I was going to say the uptick is that he doesn't really have like a targetable person. It would be Stax, I suppose, on T1. Stax has at least been like firing back decently this season. But yeah, so I guess if he did want to go for that Boaster-esque speech, it would just be focused wherever Stax is at. So, where did the Fade Eye come from? We go to that site.
I don't want to see that motherfucker kissing a single mouse. Not one mouse is going to be kissed.
Oh, I will also say, new coaching staff, I think, is actually a really nice thing for this team to kind of get some new ideas in there. I thought that they looked really solid throughout their run, and obviously like Autumn had been with this team for a while, but he's now doing some crazy stuff off with his new team.
T1 versus EDG.
I think getting a new voice in there is a good upgrade for T1. But yeah, that EDG game will be sick if we get it.
He's an Overwatch coach, right?
Yeah.
Who,
Autumn?
KDG? Yeah.
Yeah. Then
He
why?
was with Billy Fusion.
Why are they not good with ults then? Isn't that the main
They were
thing about
better with
Overwatch?
ults in the
And then they
final,
were.
but
In
I
the
agree in the
RRQ
other
game,
games.
Yeah. They clearly watched the
Why,
criticism.
wait, why when I
'cause they
click
were
on
sending it.
VLR and I click on their coach's Twitter account, it says X suspended this account which violated its rules. What did bro do? Why is he banned? How do you get? I didn't think it was possible to
from
get banned from
Overwatch.
that website.
He's from
He said too many
Overwatch, Mimi.
positive
Don't
things
ask.
on Twitter, and then they went, "Get out of here! Fuck you!"
Yeah.
Let's go into our power rankings, though, huh? Let's take all of these learnings from our predictions, which are, we only know roughly where we're expecting a couple of teams to be higher or lower than. What the hell do you do with these power rankings, bro?
It's like it's actually cooked. This one, like this one's fully cooked. Like you
This-
could just
this one-
randomize it,
yeah.
and I'd be like, yeah, right.
Well, AG at the top and EDG at the bottom. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be wrong. Of all the takes I'm going to have in this episode, I feel more confident about that one.
What's the team that you think can't win this event? Is there any?
AG,
Oh.
EDG.
Yeah. There's a
You can
lot.
say all the
Don't say
Chinese
this
teams.
kind of stuff, though. Don't say this, because the Chinese teams, when they do well, they don't play
They
like
always
they
look
did
bad
domestically.
regionally.
Yeah, but it's a great meta for them because all the stuff that they lack is like knowledge and macro stuff, and that doesn't matter at the moment.
Can I throw out a Liquid? Because I think
Damn.
even though Liquid can be amazing, and I think they can get a lot of upsets, they're not going to be able to do it consistently enough. Because they're later than G2 in terms of adjusting their style. Wayne winning the 1v3s, 1v4s. I mean, Nats is more reliable. I guess Miniboo might be more reliable as well, actually, on the like hard entry stuff like he was playing before for Heretics.
I kind of rate Liquid higher than Mates in a power ranking sense.
Really?
Mates, I don't think so.
I'm the factor that I'm considering is just the kind of like that first exposure for a lot of teams. And I mean, obviously,
you think Mates is gonna do the Carmine Core 2024?
They could. I mean, and not necessarily like in the same fashion, but I could see them stumbling. So I'm just saying like I could see Liquid going further because of veterancy. Maybe scraping by to that degree, but I could see them going further.
I mean, they certainly scraped by
Mates
an
stumble.
EMEA to get the qualification.
They could just keep going.
I mean,
along
I do think, I mean, when I spoke out loud the Liquid cope, I didn't believe it myself.
But I feel
I
like
think
you
Miniboo Neon is so good there.
I feel like you were onto something a little bit whereas I look at their map pool and I think that they have 3 bad maps and then they had like 2 fast covers for 2 of their maps. But long term, like I don't think you can have that bad a map pool to move forward. And I don't think they have enough time to fix it. Like I think they can do one and dones and they can get to like top 4, but I'm not sure they could win it. But I do think you're actually right with that take.
But I still think they're going to end up doing. Their ceiling is still doing really quite well.
Should we not though just put them low, knowing that there's a possibility that they do better? But I feel like there's no argument besides cope that they're gonna not 12, but low.
But no, they wouldn't be 12.
10.
I would not.
Okay, can we start here as well? Yeah, we can put them into 12th. That's fine. Are there any of the Chinese teams that we think we can make good arguments for them being above other squads from other regions? Because I think that's where we're going to run into. We always do this, by the way. We always put the fucking Chinese teams at the bottom, and then
we've been right every single time apart from once.
No.
Yeah, Wolves. You're going to add in Wolves. That's it. Twice.
I can't remember what we did in terms of
Wolves and EDG.
EDG, yeah. But also Trace at that champs. We did not expect Trace to be making playoffs at that champs.
Yeah, but that was everyone else's fault. That's fucking Vitality being shit.
That could happen again here.
They played 2 maps. That was it. They played 2 maps, and it's not our fault. The coaches
and it returned back to normal. They went 0-2-0-2, had the worst performance ever at Masters Bangkok until that got superseded. But
see, I would say personally that I think there are too many mistakes currently with the way that the Chinese teams are playing. Even XLG, who I like strategically, generally, I think their players are making way too many errors and won't be able to keep up the level of consistency you need to be able to go deeper into a tournament. The other teams,
plop them all
don't.
Plop them all in the last 3 places.
Let me just put this out there. It's a power ranking. We're ranking what the expected level is. If we think they could get an upset, they could be better in the upset team and beat them. That's where you can predict and you can punt. But if it's a pure power ranking, it should be in our heart of hearts what we deem how good this team should be in the most likely circumstance. And I think most likely, I don't think there's an argument for AG or EDG being above Liquid. I think you could, Josh, you're more of an XLG believer, somewhat. Can you argue XLG above Liquid? Because I think there could be a case to be made, maybe there.
No, because I think I've been watching Liquid like obliterate people with the Miniboo Neon and Nats cleanup, and like Camo's actually been playing really well recently too. I mean, yeah, like they've been putting together a very solid performance. I literally think we're gonna put the 3 Chinese teams last and gonna look like fucking idiots. Dude, but I think we have to.
We do have to, because don't be that shit at champs next time.
Okay. Here. I have a concession we can make.
Okay.
Let's put the Chinese teams 9th, 10th, 11th, and then put T1 and 12th.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're
fill
going.
it in from there. How about that?
We can't do that. We can't do that for you. The superstition has no place
when
here.
someone tells you who they are, believe them. This is normally like relationship advice or something.
Okay.
But this time we need to apply it to the Chinese teams. They've shown us who they are in their region. And who knows? Maybe they'll grow. Maybe they'll be good for you in the end. Maybe you can fix them. It's possible. But the thing is, it's not worth your life. It's not worth believing right now. If they come back around and they've improved as a person and they can go on a run, then you should congratulate them for that later. But right now, they're not at a place in their life that you can justify power ranking them higher.
Just to be clear as well, we're not taking into account whether or not a team's already getting a guaranteed spot through to playoffs.
Yeah,
So like
it's-
AG will literally place higher than this, but also they're going to be playing against more difficult opponents, might end up looking worse because their opponents are more difficult. So we're just doing it literally based on like where we think they rank right now. We're not doing it based on like predictive placements in the
Well,
tournament.
then put AG in 8th.
No, we're not doing that.
Do we
We're not
think
doing that.
EDG below AG? I would almost say that I think EDG might beat them if they play.
I agree.
No, I don't think so. I think EDG are playing some wacko shit.
I think Kong Kong rises to the stage.
I think CB is too bad to make up for it. I think Fangia is winning that for
It's
them.
11th, 12th. It's not that important.
I was gonna say it.
Yeah,
What is
that's
it?
true.
Let's-
Why linger? Why linger?
Can we
Can
talk
we
about
try
the
to crack
teams that
the
we
top
think
a
are gonna
bit?
win?
Yeah, let's try to crack the top a bit, like Kurt said.
Yeah.
Let's put together a group of 4 that go on the top row.
Okay.
Oh boy.
BBL.
Ah, do BBL look nice?
It's in the top row.
and-
I'm
and
not,
so-
they don't have to be higher, but
Just answer this question for me.
The top
Do
row
you
is
think
top
that-
4.
BBL have the least experience.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think
with
it
this
should
team,
matter
man.
a little bit. But yeah, this,
Dude,
this is what
okay,
everyone's saying.
squad-
But what makes me believe is that it's not like a bunch of random rookies. What makes me believe that they're going to succeed here is that these guys have been together for so long and have been so experienced, and the fact that they didn't get stunned at all stepping up to EMEA and playing there, that they were just continued playing well, continued playing their own fucking crazy unique double lurk every round on attack is like the craziest macro you've ever watched style, and executing on that so well. The players, dude, LaRock, Lovers Rock, those guys were on a tear in EMEA. I don't know. I cannot believe. I don't necessarily think the BBL will win, but I cannot believe that they will completely fall short and crumble at this event, because I just think that they are too well put together right now. And even though they don't have a huge amount of experience on this international stage and at the scale of globals, they have so much experience running the Gauntlet and Ascension and EMEA and all this stuff together that makes me believe. I feel something with this team.
Do you not feel like when
Yeah.
they played Gentlemates, they didn't
Uh-huh.
look up to their normal? Like when I watched that Gentlemates game, that was Gentlemates losing the best of 5 more than BBL winning. And I was looking at Rose's
agree.
callings that were definitely not to the level that we saw before. There's a lot of messed up rounds. I felt like we actually saw the pressure.
But I also think what kind
I
of-
noticed Kreven a lot, but I didn't notice the others.
Even Rose's calling on Abyss, you thought that was
Right.
fine.
I mean, he
I
said it
can't
himself in the
remember it.
post-match interview. He was like, I felt like I just like wasn't awake the first 2 maps and was not calling well, and my teammates bailed me out of it, which I agree with. I felt like the macro was pretty rough early in that series. But I think what mattered to me was that they actually went into the latter parts of that BO5, and I think the calling did look better. They did get themselves in bad spots sometimes, but they were still winning and bailing themselves out of it against a team that had individuals in some of the most insane form in terms of what Martin was doing, if any of these regional finals, and still pulled it through there. Like, I don't know. We're in a matter where it is.
Go on then.
it-
Throw
those
him in the top.
individuals can do so much, and I think BBL have that. And I also think just the way they
Yeah,
play
put 'em-
is so weird that teams will struggle against them.
Yeah, put them at 4th, just purely
Sure.
because, dude, they're farming a region that doesn't know how to play Pearl and Abyss right now as well. We have to factor that in. The whole EMEA region is so bad on Pearl, and it's pretty
Yeah.
bad at Abyss.
Well, yeah. Okay. What about Nongshim? So Nongshim is another one of those squads that I think have one very specific style. Nobody's been able to stop it. Is anyone going to be able to stop it here? Like, they're a team that the ceiling is they could just run through people.
I think
Unbelievers, man.
I think they get stopped a bit at this tournament.
If they
but-
get stopped, they're going to get hard stopped. Like, if they run into somebody who figures that shit out, it's
I mean,
gonna
I think they
be-
go from. I think they go from. I mean, whatever you would, I don't know how much you would wager their success rate is on like just running through people on their attack rounds or typically. But like let's
Crazy
say
high.
it's 60%. Maybe that gets reduced down to like a 45 or 50% or something like that. But they're still widely going to be successful. I think. I don't know. This is for me. Like I think. I just need to see that they can vibe on stage, and I think that they will, just because the core of this team was one of those squads that went through Premier. They went to Ascension, went through VCT Korea before that. They went to Ascension. They won that. They get to playoffs, and now, they have a couple changes. They got veterans there with RB, who's been on an international stage many a time previously, to help guide them and get them ready. I think that this is the new team that I am the most up about, at this tournament. I think that they have the most potential to be able to push through and make it into a top 4 position.
I think when people
I don't necessarily have them winning it, but I think
Sure.
that they have the most potential out of the teams that have never been here before.
When people are fast fixing their team by copying you, you're doing something very right. So
Yes.
they gotta be top 3. It's just where in the top 3. And
Let's
I agree.
let's throw him up there for now. Then keep
Put them
talking.
in third or
sorry.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that I just think that it's my worry is what we aren't worried for BBL about. Right, my worry is the melting with a big stage. Whereas like BBL, they're all so confident. Whereas I know Danby looks confident, but are they actually? They've been pretty
Yeah.
good in finals, but it's so much different playing in front of such a bigger crowd.
Yeah. Okay. In terms of other teams that you think have good chances to win, this is now where I start to get a lot more. Like in my head, Nongshim and BBL immediately come to mind as these teams have great chances to win, but they also have big downsides that could crop up as well, namely the inexperience being one of the biggest ones. But then when I'm looking at some of the other squads, T1, G2, even PaperX, Furia, Mates, like literally all of them apart from NRG, I think, I'm like, yeah, they could win.
Yeah.
It's chalked.
This is the whole thing, isn't it? It's the inexperienced teams that probably need to grind through the lower, not getting that chance, so they're getting chucked in the deep end, and then the experienced teams who don't need it essentially kind of. I don't know. It's weird because they're lower seeds, but
Do you believe that, Curse? Is the same thing going to happen that happened at basically every other event, right?
Basically
like
every
Shanghai,
other
Toronto,
tournament.
like
if it's ever going to happen, this should be the time when it happens. Like these are the most
Well, we're
inexperienced
putting
teams.
AG number 12, or number 11 rather. So that's already a start. I think it's guaranteed at least one of those other 3 teams will crumble.
Sure,
Between
then
a
who?
Furia, a Nongshim, a BBL. I can't say who necessarily, but I think at least one of those teams is going to get boomed.
How about all of them except Nongshim?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's possible.
It's possible, sure.
I think you're mistaken that we have the power. We don't have the power. We're just trying to guess what the hell is going to happen.
Sure. Should we fulfill our quota?
Of
G2 glazing?
Not first.
I'm not up on
Should we hit-
G2.
Not
I-
first.
G-
But then-
to
but
me,
then who'd you
G2
put
have,
first?
it's too early for G2. They've only shown 2 matches, is it? Is it more than 2 matches?
But that's probably good for them.
But they've also
Yeah.
shown a lot of their maps, so it's not like they could still have a lot more theory in the back pocket, but they haven't got a large amount of evidence showing that they can pull off this style all the time. In fact, they literally said it only just recently clicked for them, and previous to that, they weren't making it work. And what they
Are the
have
teams
shown,
that win tournaments not so often the teams who have just recently clicked into a new style that works really well for them and are just in the flow state on that?
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
is that not like exactly the like T1 experience of last year?
Yeah, but I don't. I think G2 at number 1 is insane, personally.
Actually, you know
Where
what?
would you
They
put them?
usually, when we do have high expectations for them, they usually falter. So
I
let's
put them
them
at
first.
5th.
5th?
Yeah, I wouldn't have them on this top row. I don't think.
Who is number
To
1?
me, I have more faith in G2 winning
That's
this
what I'm
tournament than
wondering.
the-
I don't think anyone's allowed to be number 1.
Who is number
There is
one?
no favorite for
All
this
right, do you wanna,
tournament, bro.
go off the show.
Someone
for a
has to be
minute?
number 1 though.
T1.
Dude, T1 could be number 1.
Yeah, I'm down.
Well, let's do the
Put 'em
exact
up there.
opposite to what we did last
Let's just
year.
say we
yeah.
did them a favor after Bangkok. We're putting them first for the first Masters of 2026. And if they fuck it up, it's on them.
But like actually, I think T1 at number 1 is a fairly safe pick, even though it's unlikely to be correct. Because they all are experienced. They've won stuff before, and there is a meta that is really good for them. And
They have
recently
John Masters,
done pretty
CEO
well.
of Masters, on the team.
I don't think it's crazy. Even though I personally think there's a higher chance that BBL or Nongshim end up winning. There's also a higher chance that those teams like fucking falling apart immediately too.
I think that T1 is one of the safest bets you could go for.
Yeah, I feel like
Given
picking one
recent
of the
form, they've lifted trophies. We know the
Mhm.
caliber of player and just the expectations set on the team. Granted, weren't met at the beginning of the year, but they've started to hit that stride and hit that level. I think that this is one of the safest teams that you could go for, if not the safest team on this, other than perhaps G2.
Sure. I think that pretting either Nongshim, BBL, or even like a Fury or something to like go be super duper high on this, they're just gonna be like, as a collective, very like high variance. Like if they're playing as well as they were in their regions, any of those teams, but I think especially so for Nongshim and BBL, could go on a run, could win this tournament. They look good enough to do that. But they could also just fall flat because we don't have anything to fall back on historically. Which is why for me, I feel like it makes sense to put your T1s and your G2s in those 1 and 2 spots. You do your new fresh number 1 seed section with Nongshim, BBL, maybe Fury. Maybe you don't put them that high. We can get into that, but that like this order to me as the top 4, I feel like any of those teams could win this tournament. But I think it's slightly a safer bet to say a T1 or say a G2.
Yeah. The problem is here. You could tell me that anyone from 1 to 8 has won, and I'd be like, yeah, makes. And I would be surprised if it was anyone from 9 to 12. But anyone from 1 to 8, I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
Well, I disagree with you only on one placement, which is that NRG. I think it would be really surprising to me if they won the entire thing, because what we've seen from them in Americas is that they are like generally at their best when they understand exactly what their opponent wants to do. There's going to be all sorts of crazy shit happening this time around. I think. Additionally to that, they are the team that plays the least meta at the moment. They're playing the furthest away from what we think the direction of the meta is, where all of the rest of these teams are having great success.
That can help
playing.
them.
Do those teams normally win, though? When they play, because they're not playing an anti-meta style, they're playing an old meta style.
Sure, but it's like you don't get practice against that at the moment. No one plays how they play at the moment. You don't get practice against it. Whereas all of the other teams are playing how all the other teams are playing. Like, they should go pretty good. And they're good at anti, and they're good with a lot of time. And they probably took a long time in the off-season off because they had a good year. So now they're just slowly ramping up. I would never count them out. To say that you don't think the NRG can come faster is crazy, surely. Look at what they do. Really.
You don't think at all?
I think...
Okay. Camera was frozen for a second on my screen. I don't know if it was for you guys. But I mean, it's another one of those things, which is the caliber of player and like what they're capable of. So like if NRG just locks in and they get the read. Like,
are you really telling me you would be less surprised? You would be, you wouldn't. You'd be more surprised if like NRG won than Furia or Mates.
Furia have literally been winning throughout the whole of Americas. Like, I don't know.
Every time I think Furia are a good team, but do you not feel like the same arguments with like Nongshim and BBL?
No, they have to
I feel worse about them. I would rate Furia underneath them, but I would rate Furia.
I agree.
I would have predicted against Furia in every fucking game, and I'm wrong every time, man. There's something about these Panthers that keep fucking winning. I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. No, I've given up on trying to understand Furia because I don't get them. But like listen, if this was me, and we're gonna have to start moving things. So I would put NRG 8, Furia 7, and then I'd be putting Paper X at 6 and Genomates at 5th. That's what I would do.
Crazy.
And actually, I would drag G2 out of that number 2 spot. But you know what? You beat me on that one.
And put them where?
You beat my ass on that one.
Where would you put them? What's your dream top 8, Josh?
5th.
Who's number 2?
Nongshim, and then BBL. And then maybe actually we throw them back into 4th or something. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just think
they played. He might be cooking.
No.
Well, then I'm just offering this up because we're making no progress. I'm happy if somebody else is bold and throws things up there. I don't want my opinion to be 1-2-3ing.
Then put
I just want
first.
progress.
I agree. Furia 7th place. Furia in 7th place. Sliggy, hang on, we can get to that. Furia in 7th place. NRG should not be in 8th place. I think you move them up to 6th place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mates has the 8 in the name. Put them in the 8th slot. And then flip G2 and BBL.
No.
Okay.
Yep,
He's cooking.
It's
He's
good.
cooking on that one.
And then move BBL to 5th and Paper X to 2nd.
Oh, you fucked it. You just immediately fucked it with that one.
Nope. This is the grand final. It's Paper X versus T1. It's gonna
All
happen,
three
and,
Chinese teams at the bottom, all three APAC teams at the top.
just as God prophesized, dude. It's been. Have you not seen what's going on here, man? Like Paper X on their run, it has been a journey of God. Like Forsaken has been playing like he's Moses. He said, "Xpharaoh, let my people go." And he didn't. So then he put a plague upon his houses. That's a Mercutio. That's Mercutio, not the Bible. But you know, he incurred the
plagued
plagues.
the houses. Yeah.
The plagues came out. The Korean casters were too loud. There was players vaping in the bathroom, and you know some other shit happened. And then they won, and it was great. He parted the seas of RRQ, and then he saw the road to freedom in Santiago. Wins.
I mean, Mimi, thoughts?
So can we just undo everything Seth did really quick?
Not everything.
I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's too bad. It's a double duelist meta. This is the best region at double duelist.
Yeah.
I love Sliggy.
Have these three not like
Paper
these
X are
three
definitely
so
going.
strong.
Do you think
Paper X are definitely going up there.
I think Paper X are good. Do you think Paper X above Nongshim with the Nongshim Glazers?
I mean, I think they're winning the event. So
Who?
Yeah,
Paper X?
Paper X, yeah.
All right, well then you're not gonna get anything out of Sliggy, are you? I think BBL are slightly underrated here based on how they've been performing in EMEA.
I agree.
Personally. But I also think there is a chance
That's
that
fine.
they
Flip them in G2.
I think putting G25 is underrating them. I think we gotta create space, and I think we've just
Okay,
suffocated ourselves.
we
in the
need
fourth
to.
rank.
Do you
I
believe
feel
in?
like I'm breathing just fine.
Do you believe in like old consistency in terms of proven, or do you believe in new maybe abusing the meta?
I
new
believe in a mix.
abuse.
You believe in new abuse, then put
BBL 1.
no, because
we can't have
if we do that, then Nongshim are number one because they're the best at abusing
Yes.
the meta.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying Nongshim and BBL number one, bro.
But
Which
were
I'm
these
BBL.
same
Where you're
four
missing
people
us is
not
the
just
BBL
arguing that like at least some of these number one seeds are gonna just like full crumble and disappear at the
Yes,
start?
some of them
Ah,
are
for
going to
sure.
crumble. Some of
But
them are
which
going to crumble.
ones? That's why we're playing the guessing
That's
game.
what
Which
we
ones are
don't
crumbling?
know. That's what we don't know. That's why I'm a little more. That's why I liked when we had our like boring consistent teams that are solid in this meta, but have been in a recent, had their slump and are on the come up with T1 or not with T1. Sorry, with like your G2s with your Paper X's, and you have like a T1 who also they had their low times. They've looked better and are really good in this meta, but you can kind of look at a little bit that history. And then you have your teams that are like some of the best in this meta, have some of the most unique reads. We're just on unbelievable dominant runs, but haven't lost a match really yet, so that we can kind of fully well place them. And then you had kind of that nice middle section, and now all that's disappeared.
Yeah, but you just want it to be narrative pilled. It's not going to be that clean. It's going to be
balancing.
messy. It's going to be fucked
Yeah,
up.
I agree.
Yeah, it's probably going to be.
I'm
But
just
also,
saying
it'd be
it's
this
definitely
flipped.
it is definitely not going to be 3 Pacific at the top. We got to kill one of them.
Ooh, I don't know how you can confidently say that.
It's just so unlikely. Have we ever had a region dominate like that? When was the last time we had
doing
that?
my work
I mean-
for me. I love this.
EMEA 2021.
2020.
yeah, 2021.
Bro hasn't been
Well, you
outside his
asked,
house
dude.
since then.
You
yeah,
asked.
well, that's my point exactly. It hasn't
The
happened
game
in
has
5
changed.
years
Yeah.
since the very beginning.
I mean, we
Wait,
had
pick one of your darlings to kill, Achilios. Which of these would you kill?
Nongshim. Just look over there and think of the rabbits. Think of the.
Because what you think they'll crumble?
I mean, I think that I think that if anything was going to crush Nongshim, it would be the lack of experience. So if I have to make a concession on them, which I do not want to do, and I do not think is
But under
actually
duress.
necessary, then yes, I think that it would be because of the lack of stage experience for most of the players at this level.
Is
I
it
can get
not
on board with that.
unethical
But
if
I
you're
still
making
believe
Sophie's
in them.
choice
So
to kill
Chobra,
your
do
youngest
not-
child
Don't
that
DM
has
me
the
about it.
most life ahead of them to live?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was
quite.
that?
If you're making Sophie's choice, shouldn't you not be killing your youngest child who has the most life left to live?
Have you ever seen the movie Killing of a Sacred Deer? Because I would do it something like that.
What is this? That feels like real Kino. What are you like absolute cinema that you've pulled out? I've never heard of that movie in my life.
Sack over the head, shotgun in hand, turn around a couple times, pull the trigger.
That's what he's gonna do to Nongshim.
Jesus.
Okay.
I mean, the Bucky's really good right now. That's a good idea.
well then, Okay, Mimi, since
Sorry.
you were the most against this plan,
Yeah.
who do you want to put in their place? And this is how we're going to have to resolve it. It's the baby in front of King Solomon.
Slide G2 up, slide BBL up.
And put them into 5th. Well, this is how you know it's a good compromise, because nobody's happy about this.
I mean, I
I'm
don't
not
think
happy.
I don't think
with
I'd
this
be
top
happy.
three.
I don't think I'd be happy anyway. Like
Yeah, I think that's
that's how I felt with my whole top 10. Looked at it, I was never happy the whole time.
I don't think I'll ever be
Yeah.
happy again in my life, so this is fine.
Okay. Jesus.
So the narrative here, though,
Sorry,
would be...
a little Weber came out.
The narrative in general here would be the Pacific Double Duelist teams and the ones with the most experience we're putting up towards the top. G2 have got a ton of experience and look good. Then you got BBL and Nongshim, who are very, very good right now, but very inexperienced. And then we've got experience comes back, and then, it kind of alternates a little bit as we go down, and then fucking China at the bottom. I guess there's some coherent logic here.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I mean, yeah. do you want to do that thing where we each get one change and then we just have to lock it in?
That's what I
Isn't
just
that what
tried
we
to do.
just did?
That's what I
That's what
just
you
tried to
just
do, Sliggy.
Okay,
Do you
well,
have a
go on
problem
then.
with this?
Yours. That's
Well,
great.
No,
All right, in that
go on
case,
then.
maybe it's your turn.
Let's keep it going. Let's go with Achilios first, because otherwise it's going to get messed up.
Achilles already
What,
did his.
what are you talking?
Oh, he's done
did
his.
He just
We
did
just
his.
fixed
hers.
his
Okay, you
change.
just did it.
All right,
It's up
Sliggy,
to
it's on
you
you
and
then. It's on
Josh
you.
It's
now.
on me. Wait, let him go first then.
Oh, he knows he wants the final say. What would I do differently here? If I could only swap 2 teams around, I would swap Nongshim and G2, honestly.
What?
Do it. He's spoken.
And I think that's insane, because I've just basically undone what Mimi did.
Yeah.
I'm an
Fucking-
idiot.
That's
Dude,
how you move.
it's fucking curious if the guy with the last name Wilkinson was a famous anti-suffragette that looks just like you, that looks exactly the same, that is you.
Dude.
I didn't want to do this. I was happy with the list as it was. Well, I wasn't happy with it, but I was going to leave it there. And then Sliggy, you little fucking Sliggy, who's always going to, he was like, suddenly, let's all make one more change. Let's let the mustache guy go first. And now Sliggy's going to fucking change something else.
Yeah,
What the fuck
think
are
I
you
know
gonna
what he's
do
gonna
to it,
change.
Sliggy? What are you gonna do? You're gonna put Paper X1, aren't you? You sick fuck.
Dude, can we have all 3 of this?
What do you mean? All 3 of what?
Specific? The thing is, I'm so fine with it. But
Look, it's
okay.
great. Dude, it's like a little
Let me
sandwich.
look.
Like the bread is Pacific at the top. The bottom is China. And then there's a little bit of zhuzh, which is EMEA on either side, and then all of America's is in the middle, because that's the all-American beef patty, baby. Like, this is a perfect fucking bracket. Or
Why does
power
no one
ranking.
believe in Furia?
I don't know. I don't understand Furia. Let me give you the devil's advocate pitch for why not to believe in them. They beat
Yeah.
a G2 that wasn't good at that point. They were playing a bunch of like nonsense breach shit that they would never have qualified if they carried on playing that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the best team that they beat was in their game against MIBR. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about them beating Sentinels, because the previous 2 teams that they played were Sentinels.
They
And
played a
the Crew's
sub-roster, lost a map to
But-
them, and then beat Sen.
But for sure, like the only elite caliber team that they beat is MIBR, who maybe we can argue about them being elite. It was a 5-mapper. It was, an MIBR that ended up not qualifying anyway. Did they look good? Yeah, I think that Furia did look good. But also, I don't think I don't know. I don't think they look as good as most of the other teams that we have here. I think that they qualified early enough that most of the teams that got in good at the end of the bracket qualified below them. And the other regions' number 1 seeds, apart from AG, look better, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know. That's
I agree.
my take.
Then,
But I've been wrong every other time, Sliggy, so don't believe me.
Yeah. Let's yes, man. I should have gone first. Because nothing fixes this, and no matter what, I'm not going to be happy with it. So
What do you mean?
let's.
You could get what
just-
you ultimately want, which is Paper X in first. All you
Paper
have
X
to do
first.
is flip them in T1. Which isn't what I believe in, but I think I could swallow that pill.
Then let's put NRG. Fuck it, man. Let's put G2 third. Nongshim gonna.
You just
crumble.
undid what I did, and you redid what Mimi
This is a
did.
bad
Okay,
sign. Sorry,
incredible.
hang on. I'm getting a phone call from Delta Airlines, who I'm flying with tomorrow.
Oh, good,
Your flight has
good,
been
good.
cancelled.
That's always good. Okay.
They saw where he put the Americas teams, and they're canceling his flight.
Well, this is fine anyway, because I think we've come to the end of our power ranking segment. And just as Achilios is
God, I
getting the
feel
word
awful
that he's
about
kicked
this.
out of Santiago, we can kick him off
But-
the show as well.
But is there anything you would ever feel fine at here?
No.
This is the problem with this. Yeah.
No,
genuinely
I
not.
actually think doing an ordered list like this is a heinous, horrible way to try and rate this event, because I think this is like a clear event of like tiers where there's like a chunk of teams that are like likely to win, a chunk of teams that clearly can win, and then a chunk of teams that I don't think can.
I also, though, I agree with Sliggy in the sense that there are like 7 or 8 teams that could lift the trophy, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I think all of 1 to 8.
It's the
I would
most
be- I get
open
it.
we've ever had a global, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And I think it's also the meta that is going to vary the most in results of teams we think are better just getting owned regardless. It is
Yeah,
a
because
very
there's,
weird
there's
spot the
such a
game is in.
pattern. There's such a pattern with the teams that have the bye to playoffs being the inexperienced ones. I mean,
Yeah.
literally the most inexperienced teams that you have up here are your number 1 seeds. So that historically has gone badly for the number 1 seeds anyway, because they don't get to warm up to the stage during Swiss.
So you're saying we're being smart by looking at historical
I don't know.
outcomes?
No. Maybe it'll change completely. We have no idea. The future
If
is
this was the top 4,
inscrutable.
I think that would make a lot of sense to me. I could see that.
Sure. Apart from
Sure.
the fact that PaperX and G play each other right, so probably one of them proved horrendously wrong.
Yeah, and it's 3 out of 4 of the top 4 teams are Swiss stage teams as well.
Yeah.
Which
Just make it out of
means-
Swiss.
Which means it's really, really unlikely to be correct.
No, I
but
mean,
yeah,
just build up that momentum, dude.
yeah,
They get out of Swiss and they pound.
yeah. Okay.
Also, everything is
Achilleos,
fine with my flight, apparently.
Everything's
It's-
good. Okay.
Yeah, they asked me if I could potentially delay and get a voucher and everything, because apparently my connecting flight is full, and I was like, well, I kind of have to arrive on this day.
Mm.
So it was a good deal, though.
Yeah, take the money.
Unfortunately, I can only spend it with them, so
I'll cast with Paper Thin, and we'll do the bold on bold broadcast.
world's not ready.
No, they really aren't ready for the sideshow play-by-play. They'd be
That's-
fucking
we
kicking
hit
my
the
ass out of
event
there
horizon
instantly.
and the Earth collapsing on itself. Like,
Well, Achilleos, I'm going to offer you the same kind of thing that I did to the others that we kicked off the show earlier. Give me a player that you're guaranteeing being in our top 10. Who have you got as like God's gift that went into the top 10?
I mean, obviously, I'll lean into Pacific here, but I would say Izu. If Izu is not in the top 10, then whoever we've pulled from is as reliable as, I don't know, the people who do the esports awards and that kind of shit. It just wouldn't make any fucking sense. So, Izu, 100%.
Okay, perfect. Well, with that, we're going to banish Achilleos. He's off. Goodbye. We will see you in Santiago. And back,
Goodbye.
returning, is the man who predicted it all, TMV. Now, did you made a video predicting the Plat Chat top
I made
10?
a video today. Okay,
The
I
power
cannot
rankings.
believe what was about
How
to
close
happen.
are we?
I cannot believe. So I made a video today doing my power rankings, right? Because you, for some reason, kicked me off. That's fine. Whatever. Don't care. So anyway,
Not bitter about
but
it.
before I did my power rankings, I decided to predict what I thought you guys would do. Okay, so you guys start off with the bottom 4, and it's exactly how I predict it. You got Team Liquid, and then you got the 3 Chinese teams in the exact right order. And I'm like, okay. Then you go to the top of the list, and you put T1 and G2 in the top 2, and then Nongshim and BBL. And I'm like, holy, I've cooked here. And then, not a word of a lie, Josh, during this video, you can go and watch my video. I say at one point, Sideshow will order these 5 to 8 teams as mates, Paper Rex, NRG Fury, and you literally at one point go, I think I'd go mates. You say it word for word, and we are perfectly there in time. All we need to do is put Paper X in 5th, and the only thing I would have got wrong was T1 and G2 being swapped. There is a moment in time where I'm this close to actual perfection. And then I say during the video as well, I'm not sure who the dominant personality will be in this power rankings. And it turns out it was Seth. Because then Seth goes, actually, this is a bunch of bullshit. Let's just put all the Pacific teams at the top. And you all just go, yeah. I guess he's right. I guess we got to. So I was so close to getting this perfect. But then I didn't expect you to be such a G2 hater. And by the way, how the fuck did you end up with T1 as number 1 there? What the fuck are you guys talking about? You're talking about like G2. Oh, G2. Oh, they've only had a couple games of playing well. T1 have had 1 game of playing well against a team that was fucking asleep just because they can fucking use the alt button. It's 2026. They've been fucking dog shit. Go through the fucking run that they've gone on. I'm a T1 hater. Let it be known. How the fuck is that team number 1?
Because they're experienced.
Yeah. They got it all going from.
Experience of
Grand
what?
finals was the final was really
disappointing
fucking
apart
good.
from 1 tournament.
It's the thing is, whenever
can
you
you
have
be-
compromises,
how can you be so
T1 are the classic compromise candidate, bro. They're just one that everybody feels met on. They're the Kia Starmer of
Exactly.
Valorant.
So how's that your number 1?
Our fucking power rankings are why the electoral college system is fucking stupid. Like
Yeah.
when just you this many people together, we're bound for failure. We can't do it.
Who would
We'll
you have
never
put
be
number
right.
1 then?
You would have put G2, right?
Well, I'm not a G2 hater, so I put G2 number 1 in
G2 number 1 is insane to me, but there you go. There
It's
you go.
not. It's
But
not.
it's not 'cause
oh,
we're
they've
not-
T1. They've got experience.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating for T1, motherfucker. That was the camel drawn by committee, brother. That was the camel.
You had a chance to change something, and you didn't change T1.
No, because I had 1 chance. I mean, what am I going to do? Put Nongshim at number 1 when they were in number 5?
Did what Mimi did, that then got undone again. You're a fucking idiot.
Okay, all right. Well, God, Dad, stop berating me. All right, let's go into something which will be a lot less controversial.
Oh, this can't go wrong. Surely this
yeah.
one will be better than the top 10
Now-
players.
Yeah, so top 10 players of Masters Santiago. Kurt has got an explainer for how we conducted this one. So there are 11 people, I believe, who submitted to this. All Plat Chat members were invited to rank their top 15 players of Masters Santiago. Rank 1, you get 15 points. Rank 15, you get 1 point. And the player with the most points becomes the top 10 players. So there is, to some degree, sometimes you get the compromise candidate where they just enough people voted for them at number 2 or 3, and they ascend the list. But this one, I think, is going to be truly fucking bonkers. The Plat Chatters who submitted their lists were TMV, Achilios, Paperthin, Mimi, Athena, Mini, Sliggy, Chobra, Sideshow, Shio, and Bren. Oh, Bren. So
I know for a fact Brent has not watched the VODs because he's been playing like 18 hours of Deadlock a day. So I cannot wait to see what beautiful list he has created.
yeah.
But dude, can you? I'm not sure there's any list that you could be that
No.
upset by at the moment.
I
No,
think it's the
his
opposite. I
theory
think-
might actually work.
I
You mean
think
it's the opposite?
everyone's going to be
You're gonna
upset.
with everyone.
Everyone's going to be upset at everyone else's list because they're all going to be different. They're all going to be so different.
Well, I don't even know how to tackle this one, to be honest. I didn't know how to tackle it. I ended up just putting people on my list that abuse the meta a little bit, so they're outlaw farmers, so obviously they're going to look good. And then I just went to go in, well, I don't want to have this guy not on my list in case he pops off. And then that ended up being like 10 extra players. That's essentially what I was doing. I was just trying to get all the safety
Your
nets.
vibes list.
No, it is pure safety net.
Well,
of just,
mine,
oh god, this guy.
I think mine's going to be the opposite to you, though, Sliggy, because I downgraded people if they were outlaw farmers. Because I'm like, well, that's the easiest job in the meta right now. You're just farming people with the
but no one
of the
looks at
space
the,
that
no
everyone
one
else
looks
is
no one looks
creating.
at the game. They go, whoa, look at this.
Well,
kill
yeah, the
record."
stats are always crazy, but like my list
Look at
compared to
this
the
kill
stats is
record.
like fucking bonkers. All right, let's get into things though. Are we ready? Take a deep breath, everyone, and let the rage pour through you. We're going to start our top 10 players of Masters Santiago with the 10th best player at Masters Santiago. Let's take a look.
This could be anyone. It's gonna be obviously
Yeah, I
anyone.
could see any name here and not be surprised.
Okay.
The Rock.
Okay.
Okay, 59 total points. The community ranked 7th, but comes 10th in our expert rankings. LaRock, incredible space create duelist for BBL, who's been, I mean, pounding in the games that they did really well in. Like, for example, absolutely diffed Alpha Year in that game where they played against Fnatic. One of the players that I think is the most confident as well on this team. So I would, to some degree, be surprised if he fell off due to lack of experience. But yeah, a great pick for the top 10 in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you take Lovers, Rocks, Anti-Ecos out of there, LaRock is there is their best player for sure. So if you're actually being smart and you're kind of looking at like who's having the most impact, it is LaRock, and he does actually look like their best player as well. And I'm pretty sure he's their best player. So I actually think, I know this isn't going to age well, but this is a pretty good start from us.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think this is super reasonable. I also I like watching Laroc play because I think he works super well when they play their faster rounds, and he's just like a kind of classic to this meta, just space creation for Lovers Rock going in. His entry pathing is very good. He's extremely confident. But because they do so many rounds where they split the duelists and embed both of them and kind of let them work, I think he also plays super well there and like knows when to take his fights. Super good individually. I was really, really impressed watching this guy. So 10.
Okay.
Good work, guys.
A reasonable beginning. Let us continue to the 9th best player of Masters Santiago. It's Mini from Gentle Mates, who the community ranked at 10th, but very, very similar in terms of the ranking. Mini was in absolute god form throughout this. I think got overshadowed towards the end by Martin because Martin just dropped 2 of the like all-time greatest performances across the BO5s. But prior to those 2, Mini was their player. Like, he was filthy so far. And he was great last year, too.
Yeah, he's been consistent. He's just such a heavy fragger, man. Clutcher. He kind of does it all, to be honest. He is the actual rock of this team for sure. So, dude, again, I think this is pretty good, man.
Not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah.
He's very consistent as well, which is pretty hard to do at the moment. Yeah.
His setups are good too. He's not just an all aim no brain player. Like, he's very, very smart, and his Sentinel setups are good. We're kind of fucking with this list.
No, we're doing right. But the problem is when you fill out the list, you go, well, this guy's missing.
Right.
Shit now.
Okay. Well, let's see. Number 8. Number 8. Let's have a look. It's Koala Noob. Okay, who the community ranked at 6th as well. So ranking higher than we did from the community. Koala Noob, who did actually not have that great of a year last year, but holy shit has he done well on Furia this year. I think this has been his real breakout year where he's proved to everybody that what he's been saying in the past about how good his opping is true. His opping's been fantastic. He's also not been just the like... Yoru merchant, I guess you could call them, on some of the other teams. He has played Omen, he's been playing the Chamber, he's been playing the Yoru, he's been playing like whatever his team needs him to that allows the flexibility to be slightly higher for this squad. So, all right.
Yeah. I actually think he looks his best on some of the off maps. Like, I really love when he plays the Omen on Abyss. I think the way that he's anchoring sights there in the rounds where he's rifling looks really good. And when he gets the op up, it's just such a presence. The Breeze games that they've obviously the Breeze game in the final did not go well, but earlier games when he's opping there as well, he's just looked like one of the best oppers at this tournament in my mind.
He's a big win condition as well for Fury. Like, if Fury are gonna do good, it's because this guy's popped off. I feel like if he doesn't pop off, I'm not sure I've seen enough to be convinced that they'll win. Really, it feels like that is one of their big win conditions. Alum goes in, creates a space, and this guy just cleans up. But this guy's playing insane right now.
He has a lot more competition though globally than he has in Americas for this kind of role, I think, because there are other people who are probably going to come up later in the list that are playing that similar kind of thing.
But I would say that he's probably the most consistent opper we've got in terms of the amount of shots he hits in terms of misses. He's very consistent with like his actual hitting of shots, which is
that's important.
It's amazing. Got a scope meta. Yeah, it's pretty important.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at who made the list in number 7 then. 7th best player of Masters Santiago is Nats. And the community ranking at 5 as well. So we're aligned here, but we're ranking people slightly lower, which means that there's going to be some spots that we've got at the top that the community didn't. But Nats has been, I think, his like leadership and the fact that he's been able to build another squad to get to a global event, I think that's just utterly fucking remarkable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But then you also put on top his individual performances. Anytime you go to Bind, you know you're getting a masterclass performance from this guy. And yeah, overall, he has been very, very strong.
It's normally tough with the IGLs because obviously we're not inside the teams. We don't fully know what's going on, like, you know, who's saying what. But with Nats, I mean, every game we're getting a full speech rundown. You know, this is how we'll fight them on the beaches type stuff. Like, you know, and I just feel like if there's one, I mean, putting Nats on the list, I mean, we can't be wrong. No one is gonna be mad. This is an absolute safe bet as you like. You know, Nats is gold in Valorant terms. You know, just put it on Nats because it's safe and he'll be good. Even if Liquid don't do that well, Nats will still probably be pretty good.
Yeah,
unless they put him on Waylay.
Yeah, unless they pick their statistical worst map and then put him on Waylay. I think this is where it starts to divide everyone, because it's like, do you go for current meta stats or do you go for historical, and then you're doing like a flip between the both? Because I mean, he had like a 105, 106 rating, I think, somewhere around there. So he's not like going crazy, but it's just the historical. At events, this guy pops off. He has a good read of the meta. Obviously, he has good impact outside of the game if you include that as well. So I think this is a safe bet. I actually think this is kind of fine putting him around here. Again, if you want to put him higher, it's you put historical data above like what's going on recently.
I think it's also how you weight your list. If you're thinking about it, it's like, out of all of the players at this event, if I'm a GM wanting to make a team, who would I pick up? If that's the case, I'm putting Nats really high because of the leadership, because of the fragment, because of all that. But if you're thinking, if I'm predicting how high the impact of each of these players will have been by the end of the event, then I think it's easier to put Nats lower if you're not expecting Liquid to do particularly well, despite just how good and how consistent he is as a player, and how easy it is to argue him for a higher slot.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is an absolute beast. Let's go into the next pick then. So at number 6, let's see who we had above Nats for Masters Santiago. It's Lovers Rock, who the community ranked at 4th as well. So there's a lot of, I mean, we are very aligned actually at the moment in terms of like everybody that we've looked at so far is on the community rankings.
On number 2 community ranking, 53.
It is gonna be something like that. Yeah,
it's been basically all EMEA players at this point too. But Lovers Rock is performing really, really well, and he does have the role where you get like insane statistical value. He is the op guy, the outlaw guy, and he is running around cleaning up after LaRock.
Yeah, he is. I mean, this is like the community obviously puts the eco frags a bit higher than us, I guess, with their 4th place. But he is the best at it, and BBL have consistently been the best at making sure their outlaw player does farm the most. They did it with Comeback back in the day as well when they're on Pacific. So I feel like they're very good at the meta, and this guy has not saying he's come from nowhere, but he's filled the shoes that he needed to fill insanely well, and he is just again, he's very similar to Koala. He doesn't miss a lot, and they give him a lot of freedom, and I think that works out insanely well, especially having a Euro where it makes sense and he can TP out as well. So I think that, dude, kind of like our list at the moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, we've got 5 more spots, so let's have a look who's in the top.
We're gonna get to
5.
number 2, and he's like, "Wait, there's 3 players."
Yeah.
For sure.
No, there's definitely going to be people missing from everybody's list, but so far it's been very EMEA dominated. We'll see if that continues. Let's have a look at the 5th best player then of Masters Santiago. Valen. Okay, so this is the first time where we've rated somebody higher than the community rankings. Valen's individual stats have been monstrously good, actually, throughout Kickoff. I think in terms of IGLing, it's a weird mixed bag, because you could look at the beginning of Kickoff and see, oh, they were playing some really weird comps, so they weren't actually doing that well. Or you could look at the end and you could give him credit for that, or you could give the duelist credit for it. But it's inarguable that his individual performance has been probably the best we've ever seen it, actually. And we have seen some high peaks from Valen before in the past.
I mean, last year he was still kind of crazy, no? Like he was
also 2024. He has been like crazy consistent. I think
maybe he's just pretty good at this game.
Yeah, he might be. There is a small chance. I think part of it is with Leaf not having quite the same like insane performances he was finding last year, at least in this Kickoff so far. Valen has come out and found himself in a lot of those same like late round clutches and like individual performance moments that he wasn't in quite as often in previous, when it was normally like Leaf the guy you were looking at it at filling all that in. But with Leaf and Trent not quite taking over, he has absolutely stepped up. I also think if you're putting any weight at all on like the IGLing and the leadership, you have to give him a little boost for that as well. And you know, your Giga recency bias, his recent games are great. Your history bias, he performs very well at global events. He's just a great all around like mid top 10 player for me. He's not going to be the #1 rated giga insane duelist player at the end of the event, but he is consistently great and has impact outside of just his fragging.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think normally when it's G2 as well, it's like hard to put one like yeah. Normally like, oh, who do I pick in G2? This is like one of the first times, maybe like a bit at the end of last year as well, where it's like so easy to just have the one because he is just carrying so hard on Astra, like, and his Utah's really good. So yeah, he's in a 6th spot at the moment, man. He's like, dude, he's sick to watch at the moment. He's like one of the best Astras, and again to be fragging so heavy in a double duelist meta when you're playing an Astra is kind of no one else is doing it really on smokes.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. Let's have a look at who beats Valen out then. We're so close to the podium, but not quite there yet. Top 4, the 4th best player of Masters Santiago, according to the Plat chat experts, is Dambi from Nongshim Red Force, who's very close actually again to the community ranking of 3rd. This guy is the hardest of hard entry Neon players. He is getting in there like swimwear. He's all over the place. I mean, nobody's been able to stop him at all at the moment. I mean, he's also having exceptional impact on pistol rounds. He's one of the heaviest fragging pistol round players and is winning them straight like halves, or at least the beginning of halves off the back of that. But yeah, when you see him, especially on the attack side, it's difficult to doubt that this guy is looking like he should be at the front end of lists like this.
We're in a place right now where the like best stats players is dominated by people in the Yoru role playing the cleanup, doing all that harvesting that we're talking about. He is, I think, in my opinion, the best guy who is actually playing hard entry and performing this well individually. No one else is really doing it like him at this level. I think he is the best Neon player going into this event, at an event where I think the Neon teams are going to do very, very well. And on top of that, besides just how good he is as a player, Nongshim just could not play the way that they like to play without him being who he is and playing the role to that level of success.
Yeah, he defines that team.
No, he really does, yeah. And he kind of defines the role as well. When you got G2 and Liquid that are essentially copying how he plays as part of your playstyle, you're doing something right. Like he is, if you're trying to define this double duelist meta with one that farms and then one that makes space, he's the best for sure by like big margin at player that makes the space and just gets the most kills, gets the most entries, does the most for his team. He's like initiator in terms of getting the info, jump peeking. He is the best Neon at the moment, for sure. Like he's the best, fast, selfless, sended in duelist who is somehow putting up good stats.
Well, then let's have a look at our podium players, because you've got to be pretty fucking impactful to beat out Dambi. Let's have a look at the bronze position, top 3 player for Masters Santiago. It's Itsu. So the
11!
This one is the first where we've got an enormous disparity between our rankings and the community rankings. To give the positive of Itsu, because that's what we were peddling. This guy has just been such a consistent, again, like cleanup guy behind Buzz, I would say. But the way that he performs and has performed in the past, both the experience and the current level, is very, very strong.
I'll let someone else take Glazing Yuzu. What I want to say is, if you've looked at that number 11 and you're mad, like me, you can fix it. Become a member. Next tournament, put Izu #1. You can fix the power rankings. You have the power. Make the community better.
Yeah, I think I personally think this is a bit of a historical correction by us as well, because I think Itsu has like just from like I think if you got people to name the T1 players just off the top of their head, a lot of the community would probably not put Itsu near the top. But I actually think he, over last year as well. I mean, he literally did get robbed of an MVP as well. I mean, he deserved it over me too at that tournament.
Yeah,
but that's an aside. But I think this is a bit of a correction by us for he probably could have deserved to be in some of these lists before. Like, I think I don't know if it's just because of his role. Like, he doesn't, he plays a lot of different stuff. And so maybe we don't like think about him necessarily like straight away because he's often playing something different maybe they did in the past. But that's just like, we fucking glaze Forsaken for that. Like, oh, this guy's flexible. He can play the duelist. He can play initiate. He can play controller. Like, Itsu as well, though, is also flexible and fucking amazing. And I know this can't be the fucking TMV views, because when I was making my list, all the fucking chat were like, Itsu, just spamming fucking Itsu. So at least they know. So I'm blaming the rest of you. I think it's Sliggy's.
Man,
yeah, you need to glaze Itsu more.
I think I got him as a 4th, man. I was fine. I was glazing good
No,
amount.
your community.
Those guys are idiots, man.
I have Itsu closer to the community ranking than this ranking.
So it's this fucking idiot.
Because I've been lower down on a lot of the Yoru players, and I think
by the way, this guy happy to put T1 in first in the power rankings. Doesn't think their only good player is good.
Jesus Christ, man. I suppose you would have been single-willed well enough to be able to.
The implication that
stop
Meteor
T1
is
from
not a
being
good
there.
player is crazy.
No, I think T1 their system is really, really good right now, but I have generally been weighting more towards the space creator rather than the one using the space. But I think in terms of those kind of players, he's very, very strong.
He's the best Yoru at not doing dumb shit. He doesn't give away his kill that often. Like in terms of if you want to look at like how your second like heavy fragging Yoru should be playing, if you want him to play safe, he's actually like up there. Doesn't give his death away a lot.
Let's have a look at the top 2. Let's take a look at the second best player of Masters Santiago. We've been on a Pacific run recently, and this is no different. It's number 2 Forsaken, exactly matching the community ranking, in fact. Forsaken recently, if you've been watching the recent games of Forsaken, he went absolutely buck wild in the BO5 that they played and dropped a plus 43 whilst playing Yoru on Breeze and fucking Veto on Pearl. Like, he was playing all sorts of stuff, really leaning into his reputation as being a very flexible player. Previously, he wasn't even playing the Yoru for them on Breeze, and instantly, as soon as they got him onto it, they were doing a lot better on that map. I've got a question for you, though, and the question would be, is this based on just that BO5 performance? Or is this based on the whole, like, the historic and what we've seen recently? Like, where would you say the number 2 ranking comes from?
I would say it's a mix of both, to be honest. The best of 5 was like, it's so locked in people's minds as well, because it was crazy. It's crazy end to a map, and then to do it on like an agent you played first time, like it's like legendary, to be honest. We don't really see that ever. So I think that's in there, but it's also just historically, man. At big tournaments, does this guy normally perform best in Paper X? Yeah. Like, apart from maybe something sometimes if you're looking at last year. But I just think that, dude, it's just insane what he does every single year on whatever agent he's on. It is just a mix of a bit of recency bias because that best of 5, but hey, look at how he's played within like the last 3 to 4 years. It's insane.
And the weird thing for me when making this list is normally we come into these tournaments and like, you know, you're weighing up like how can I fit 4 Paper X players into my list this time? Whereas this one I feel like it was again pretty clear. Like Forsaken's going on my list, and I'm not feeling too hot about like, you know, the rest where they are right now in terms of their performance. Obviously, again, historically, they have shown that they can do it. But I think it would have been very interesting if Paper X scraped by and you didn't think any of them played well in that grand final. Yeah. Like, what would people have done? Because you know it's Paper X, you want to put them in there. But at the same time, like, individually, you know, they maybe hadn't been as good as perhaps they had been in the past. But obviously for Forsaken, I mean, that last game was just so unbelievable. I mean, it would have been sad for Martin, but had he had gone and broken his record one day after, it would have, like, Martin shatters the record and then one day after he breaks it would have been, I mean, just phenomenal. And he was on pace, right, to break it. So that would have been fun.
Yeah. Could have been cinema in the making. I mean, listen, the meta looks like it's set for record breaking, and we've got BO5s coming up in this tournament too, right? We've got the grand final to be played, so there is still a chance that these records could be broken by any of these kind of players. Let's go on to our number 1 spot then, and we may have said
I may have mentioned his name.
We may have summoned him.
That would be crazy.
Number 1 is Martin for Gentle Mates, who was also number 1 in the community ranking as well. And I mean, listen, yes, to some degree, it's got to be recency bias, doesn't it? But also, like, the dude has been very, very good, and then he also drops 2 BO5 record breaker performances. Like, what the fuck did this guy do at the end of Kickoff? It is It is crazy. It's a tournament performance that I think is really difficult to even think of who's had a better end to a tournament ever.
I mean, that's the
It's
best
ridiculous.
two-day performance
I
of
don't think
Valorant
that's
we'll
ever
see.
happened.
Yeah.
I think it's we'll ever see, because your chances of getting two extremely close, best of fives, because that's basically what you need to happen, right? To just have
Yeah.
enough rounds to get this many kills. The chances of that happening anyway aren't that high, and you have to lose the first one as well often to play. So I guess you could you could win a lower final and then go to the grand final, I guess. But just the chances of that happening twice are so slim already that I don't. And maybe this meta is also playing into it as well. We maybe won't have metas as much like this either. I just think it's incredible. And what do you want to do? I mean, the community put him one, we put him one. I guess what you want to do? He just literally had the best 2-day performance ever.
All right,
Yeah.
but then question, is it gonna stay there?
Well, no, probably not, because that would be fucking insane.
Well, no. Okay. But there's a difference.
Yes, he's
between...
going to have the best tournament of all time. He will cement himself as the greatest player of all time by continuing to play at that level for a tournament. No, of course he fucking won't.
But I suppose the question is,
But
what
do you
is the
regret
level
putting him
gonna
number
be
one then?
What's the... Why am I putting him number one? You can have a number one player and him not be the literal GOAT of the game for all time. He can still be the
No,
best
I mean,
player.
do you think he will be the number one player of Masters Santiago?
He'll be in
No,
the
that's
top,
not how I do the list. It's not
he'll
predictive.
be in the top 10, you would imagine. He's just set up too well for it.
Yeah.
He's too good that all plans
But
around just
Jemkin
setting
number
him
one,
up.
RRQ did
Good
shit.
theory, good outlaw stuff. He's the good second entry. As much as Danby was the best example of the first entry duelist, Martin's the best example of the Euro right now.
And I think that one of the things that makes me more confident in Martin is that it's weirdly why his VFL rating wasn't that crazy is because bro was just dropping 2Ks and 3Ks very consistently round by round by round. If you went back across that series and looked and you were like, when did Martin take over and just win complete rounds and halves for the squad? There are examples of it, but it wasn't that the entire time. It was just he's plugging 2Ks into every fucking round and then sometimes getting the 3K, 4K or whatever and dominating. But there was a lot of just, I'm at work, clocking into my 9 to 5, doing twice as much as everybody else is. It was... And that's a good sign, I think, generally, because it means that the game plan and the way that you're approaching things is just getting you more value than other people are. It's not that you're just having some generational performance that you'll never be able to replicate.
Yeah, and he looks insanely comfy right now. His comfort levels are just through the roof, where he can just do anything. Again, he has the best Euro ults right now. And that's been a hot topic for the past year, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but we also should mention, on a bit of a downer, Madrid, we had him kind of high, and then
I mean, he played fine in Madrid. It was just KC didn't.
I mean, that was their first time turning up to an event like that, and they did choke pretty badly.
So what could happen with a team with a history of choking that's never been to an international? Surely it won't happen again.
History of choking. There's only Mini that exists from that squad, isn't there? That's a bit harsh, giving them the 12 curse from the previous year. But
I don't make the rules.
I don't make the narratives. I just enforce them.
he is set up a lot better now, though. It's not as one-dimensional as the Kickoff
And he has
stuff.
another top 10 player on his team.
There are a lot of EMEA players on this list.
There are, and there's a lot of players missing as well. I feel like.
Well, let's have a look.
That's the thing, right? Because it's historically. If you went historically on this list, it's a completely different list.
Yeah, definitely.
No Brock.
And I don't think you're wrong to do that either.
Let's have a look at the 11 to 20 then. So some of the players that were missed out in the top 10 are going to be...
look at the top 10 just to show the points discrepancy. Because there's some close ones here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's have a look. So, who's super close? Well, Itsu, Danby, and Valen and Lovers Rock are all within 1 point of each other.
And Forsaken's close as well. Dude, Martin was straight upright favorite. Which is
I think it shows at the bottom as well, the points total for La Rock seems quite low there. I think it shows that probably the top 6 or 7, maybe everyone had kind of similar picks, but then certainly towards the bottom, We've probably got a lot of different people like
Yeah.
in those slots, but maybe
Yeah.
I
Kurt
found
will
that's
tell
where
us
it was
now.
really hard, where I was just like looking through and like, well, I want this player on my list. It feels bad not having them. And then there's just like 10 different players I feel that way about, and you have to like kill 5 of them.
Yeah, that's what I did. I felt great about my 1 to 5, and then everything else I was like, this is shit.
Real quick, we'll go over the individual lists later, but there is an outlier from this top 10 from our side. Danby had 5 number 1 rankings from the Plat shares out of 11 people.
Wait, let's see if we can predict who they are. I think that might be fairly easy. I mean, it has to be Paper Thin, and it has to be Achilios. 100%.
Oh, Achilles
neither of them.
when
Neither
asked.
of them.
Yeah,
Neither.
Achilles when asked said
Neither of
Itsu. He said
Okay.
Itsu when asked.
Bren. It's got to be Bren.
No.
Bren didn't watch
Wow.
Pacific, brother.
No, I was
Yeah,
going
but I
to
just
say,
thought, what's the kind
Bren
of
might
player
not
that
have him
Bren
on.
likes? He remember he had what was it called? The sacrificial lamb.
The
buff or
sacrificial
something.
lamb
Yeah.
statistic.
Yeah,
But
I
dude,
thought
if-
he'd love that for Danby.
If 4 of
Maybe
us
he's
had him
not.
as number 1, does that mean that someone didn't have him on the list?
I had him way
5
too
of
low.
us.
I just
5
looked
didn't
back
have
at
him
my
on the
Why
list.
list.
people
I
didn't
had
have
him way
on the
too low.
list?
Wait, not at
Wow.
okay. I had him on my list. He was just
Oh, you got him on
Only
the
one
I think
person
that
didn't have him on their list.
list. Okay,
okay.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Name and shame.
Can we have a look? Well, we'll take a look at the individual lists later on. We will be able to look at those. Let's have a look at 11 to 20, though, because these are the players that a lot of us
Just
may
missed
be
out.
nominated, but missed out on being able to get in there. So Meteor, Happyway, who's got, by the way, Happyway's stats are fucking insane
they are
right now.
nuts.
The form that he's in is absolutely ridiculous. But I think that's partly maybe some of us not being aware of it, but also some of us not rating China that highly as well. But Happyway is very, very good. Brock, Mada, RB played super well,
Yeah,
especially towards the end in their run. Envy, I think, is their most consistent player on Paper X in the second half of Kickoff.
Can I ask you, Kurt? Is Jorgamo's 15 points Bren putting him number 1 at gunpoint by Alice?
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Literally no one else picked Jojima.
Which is, to be honest, might be underrating Jorg a little bit, I suppose, in
For
the sense
sure.
that he, in their new style, has the potential to actually pop off at this event.
No, he has potential to just have the best bragging rights. Because if they go heavy neon and he's actually descending on the neon, doing like Danby cosplay, he could be the number 1 rated, and we all don't have him on our list, and he's got him as number 1. It could be insane for him.
yeah. He's not actually the top 16 player, but I think he is the platonic ideal of the top 21 player. The guy that like no one is thinking about enough going into this event, but could just, especially if G2 performs as well as some of us think they will. I think he'll need to be very
Yeah.
good. And he's
Baby
set
Bay
up
as
to do
well,
it.
though. Baby Bay as well, in my opinion. Like, actually, end of Kickoff, Baby Bay's impact is really, really high, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And I think people have narratively not prepped for that because he is the sub guy and the rusty guy and whatever else. But when they got him on roles where he looked really comfy, like the chamber bind and the waylay split and stuff, the impact was actually enormous. So I'm glad he's made the list, even if it's at 19th. But yeah, might even be underrating him. Are there names that are missing completely, do you think?
Not obvious right now, but there's definitely names that could pop off and have like a crazy event, and we're like,
Okay.
like
okay.
Mini Boo if it's a neon meta and they go
Yeah.
heavy into that.
Yeah,
Uh,
Miniboo's been playing great on the Neon.
Anyone from Paper X, to be honest, Leaf could definitely go crazy. Like there's big
But
names,
mostly historic names.
yeah, the historic names,
Yeah.
that could just go insane.
Okay, let's have a look at the community top 40 then. So we'll have a look at, there are over 2,300 submissions, and here's some idea of what the community was looking at. Leaf pretty high at number 12.
They went historic.
Yeah, for quite a lot of them. But Happyway gets in at 15, which is higher than we had.
How many
About where we had
lists
him,
did
maybe.
Alice submit if Jorgamo's 14?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're much more aligned with Alice than the rest
Or
of us.
just history heads. I
Come
think
on.
if you're a
17.
G2 believer and you believe history, I don't know.
Kankan gets boosted really high up here.
Yeah.
People
RB
are-
30 with how he's playing.
That does seem a little low. Shrimp making the list at 28th though. Shrimp's had some big rounds. But yeah, Fangia being listed at 25, I think is pretty reasonable too, because there's a guy that like is gonna have to go nuts and has been playing really well domestically. So like, it seems like the Chinese players are sneaking in around the like 25th spot, which wouldn't have made our list with an exception of Kang based on history and Happy Way based on form.
Yeah.
Loiter's an interesting shout. I was considering Loiter. I think he's a very strong
Yeah,
player
I
that could
just
go
barely
nuts.
cut him from mine. He was like in my top 20 shortlist.
Okay. Shall we take a look at individual lists?
I think we should take a look at everyone else's list but ours and just roast them.
Oh, I like
we
this.
can do that first if you want, and then go through our individual lists.
Is there
But I
a
feel like-
Kurt's Choice
Oscar.
Award for an entertaining one to talk about?
I
Oh,
haven't.
Brens.
I didn't really review them that closely, but
I mean, we got to
obviously
take a look at
is-
Brent's just for the lulz.
Brent's is always
yeah.
I
good.
think we should talk about our four first, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
do everybody else's.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
We can. I'm happy to begin with mine, in fact, and be the lightning rod of shittery first, because I think I'm right in saying that my top 10 was exactly what the Plat chat top 10 ended up being. So I was exactly in the middle ground. Now, not the order, obviously, but just
Oh,
the people
LaRock
that were in
second.
it.
Rock 2.
Yeah, so I went heavy into people that I think are like space creating and making it much easier for their teammates to mop up and do crazy shit. So I think my thing with BBL is I think people might not have realized that LaRock's incredibly good. The caliber of team that they played against was really high because they went all through the upper bracket, I think. And the games that they won, some of them were just straight up won by LaRock. And I think he's not as good as Danby, but I think in terms of that space creation role, yeah, I think I would have him number 2 at the moment.
Valen
You-
10th.
Is that too low?
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah.
With how he's playing.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm
I
a
think
little
he's very
surprised
good.
by your Happy Way 15. That feels like you just tried to sneak on a Chinese player, but considering you loved XLG in the past, I would have thought
Oh,
that would be
I think
higher.
I did the same.
I'm
to us.
a
I
big
did the
ha-
exact same.
I'm a
Yeah,
big
but
Happy
he's
Way
a big
fan.
Happy Way fan.
I'm a Happy Way
Okay.
fan. I think he's not just in form right now. He's actually clearly the best Astra in the region as well, and he's like one of the smartest players in the region too. And so I think like if there's anybody that you could just like pick out China and put into any other good team and they would be excellent, obviously depending on language, Happy Way would be phenomenal. But yeah, it is basically just like a
Now, I know
Roman
you're
there.
down on NRG, but see, because I feel like when we get to my list, the big difference that I've got is Brock. You've got Envy at 13. Oh, well, here we go. Brock is high
Brock
on my
at
list.
5.
I'm a
Brock
Brock
at
believer.
5.
But why would you put Envy over Brock?
Because I think that Envy. Well, I mean, honestly, I do think that Brock has been extremely good as well. I guess part of it is that I don't think NRG is going to do as well, and that just clouded the way
Okay.
that I'm thinking about Brock. Because I agree that Brock's impact is extremely good. Envy's also been, though, really reliable and fits into this like meta really nicely too in terms of how he's functioning within Paper X.
Mm.
I think I'm just kind of like down on NRG, I guess, in terms of how they'll
Okay.
perform at the
That's
event.
Just because meta. Yeah.
Yeah, just because meta. Like Brock himself though is playing super well.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I ended up being a bit anti-America's bias with my list, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Like,
I mean,
Valen
to be
ended
fair,
up a
the
bit
whole
low,
the
Brock
the
wasn't
whole
there.
list was a little. How many American players were on it? 2. It was Valen.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's pretty valid because I think if you look at how they started,
Wallenoob.
you got
Oh,
to say
cool.
this is the region that missed the mark the most in terms of meta read,
Yes.
closely followed by EMEA, and then it was like scramble to who can get to a good enough spot fast.
Which is
enough.
funny because I thought they had a really nice meta read at the beginning of Kickoff. I was like, holy shit, this Waylay tech
Yeah, they were
is
playing a lot of Waylay.
super nice. And then later on we're like, the Neon Yoru looks insane.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of that where it's just like I don't think you can be super convinced with how America's looked in Kickoff just purely from that. Apart from Furia, to be honest, because they're the ones that had to read from the get-go double duelist majority maps. And then I can understand G2 because of the turnaround, like the last games.
Sliggy, should we take a look at your list?
Yeah. I can't even remember it, to be honest. I went for my meta reads at the beginning, so everyone was playing currently well in the meta, and then pretty much 7th onwards is just historical players that I don't want to get wrecked. And I put Lover's Rock at 11 because he's been eco fragging like mad.
yeah.
And I don't mean that as an insult, like I wouldn't CS. It's actually like important in this game.
Mini seems a little low to me. Like, are you not as high on the guy, or is that just
I'd
pushed down by other people?
putting other people in front of him. Like he's been great, but it's been a lot of the Martin show.
Yeah.
No LaRock either. You're a BBL doubter.
No, LaRock. I mean, he's been playing good as well, but I don't know. I'm a bit of a
Think of
BBL
the
doubter.
BBL Sliggy jokes.
I'm a bit of the. I'm a bit. When I watched BBL against Gentamates, I more just felt like it was Gentamates losing the game, and then I'm also just like wondering how. Also thought the Rose's calling looked a little off, and then I thought that I don't know. I'm not sure how long the Cypher stuff can be viable. So I more just think. I don't know, they keep proving me wrong because they're just insanely confident and they're good individuals, but I'm not like massive BBL believer at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I also just think the EMEA doesn't look that good, to be honest. So it's like I'm pretty down on, like, if I was ranking regions at the moment, I would say it's Pacific, Americas, EMEA, and then China. But then I would also say it's for different reasons as well. Like China is past year, EMEA I just think they're really bad at this map pool. And then America's is slow meta read, whereas Pacific just had it all from the beginning.
Yeah, our list was very EMEA compared to yours, actually. Like you were.
I'm really down on EMEA, man. I think they don't know how to play Abyss. I think they don't know how to play Pearl. I think they're awful at these two maps.
I think the meta read though is there for EMEA, and the individual talent looks kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at Mimi's list, shall we?
Yep.
We'll.
Mine is going
defend
to look
yourself.
a little strange in some ways. So what I did was I did the classic of like making a short list, and then I thought kind of did like my like power rankings of teams, and I weighted teams that I thought were going to succeed better very well, and the players that I thought were going to have very high impact if that was going to happen. And this is what I came up with.
T1 believer.
I'm a pretty solid T1 believer. The earlier games were rough, but I really loved what I saw in that RRQ final, and I think
Well,
this
I'm an
is a team
official
that
doubter.
Yeah.
It's official.
respect
I am
that.
a doubter. I in fact, even after
Hater
they won a
is what we
Masters, I
call
was
them.
still a
Hater,
doubter.
some would call
and
you.
you know what? The doubt got rewarded as they went on.
It's true. We'll see if it gets rewarded again. I think regrets for me, my number one is I put Danby way too low. I just got in the mud with moving players around, and he like slowly got shifted around. But I even if Nongshim doesn't do well in this tournament, which I didn't have them like super highly rated in going on a run compared to some of you guys, but I think they'll do solid. I still think that he's going to be one of the more impactful players in the tournament, even if that's the case.
Should we have a look at?
Show me Bren's
Okay,
list. Show me Bren's list.
Go on.
Oh,
Which ones
Kurt's
do you
had a
want to see?
scan.
Do you want to see Bren? Let me, because I
Have
to
you
prep
seen them, Kurt?
like,
Are
on
there
the back
more
end.
interesting ones?
But we'll show. I have to prep it on the back end, so give me the ones you want to see, and then I'll do it.
Let's
while
do
we show
Bren to
Bren.
start.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
start with Bren for sure, and then the other people that we could take a look at. I think it's always good to take a look at somebody from Pacific, because the Pacific talent sometimes have some absolutely.
I want to
bonkers
see how
ones.
Nongshim biased Chobra is.
All right, we'll do Bren then Chobra.
Bren then Chobra, and yeah, that should be enough. We'll see. Jorgamo number 1, of course, we knew it was going to happen. Valen number 2 is. I mean, Valen's been incredible.
Koala
for
4?
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's
He's been
Yeah, okay.
popping.
I mean, I agree, but a lot of fury, I believe.
Happy Way at number 7, absolutely
Guy's a
based
China.
China
He's got
watcher. He's got
shrimp
shrimp at
on there.
11. Holy.
Shrimp
Honestly,
was
it's
sick.
it's the only way they win rounds. Individuals.
He's got
I mean-
X-Ross for the final. Respects. X-Ross had a good final.
Yeah, it's got some wacky stuff in there, but I think you're right, Sliggy. It's like, even with a list like this, you can't be too mad.
Yeah,
No, this is one where you can really justify.
Martin's
much.
probably the biggest
Yeah.
misser.
Wait, he doesn't have Martin on his
Oh, he
list.
doesn't have it anywhere. Wait, he doesn't
Okay.
have Martin at
It's
all.
like he just had Martin at number 1, and then Alice has come in and
Yeah,
deleted
I
that and
mean,
put
that
Jorgamo.
Might have been what happened.
That is funny, though, that Martin was still clearly number 1 on our aggregate list, even though Bren didn't have him at all.
The fun fact about that with the community rankings, only like 70 people out of like the 2,300 submissions didn't have Martine. So Bren was like one of the 70 people.
Damn. He's out there. We always knew it, but he is out there. Let's have a look at Chobras. Is that what we said? Chobra?
Yeah. Chobra.
Danby number 1,
Danby
absolutely
1,
based,
classic.
unfathomably based. Martin Nitsu, Valen for
RB8.
Mini Nats, RB.
Okay.
Wait, this is
RB
pretty
And
good.
Extras
It's pretty
12.
good, though. It's pretty damn
This is
good.
pretty good.
Extras
And
12.
he's lowered most of the scope abusers, apart from Martin, I suppose, who's at number 2. but gets a base from that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Devi? I was thinking about like who else on PaperX has been performing really well, but I chose Envy over Devi.
I would have picked Envy over.
I mean,
Divine. I think I
Envy.
would have put Envy second. Yeah.
The problem is Envy had like a bad start. Otherwise, it'd be like insane.
Yeah.
Pick, I would say.
Yeah.
But like in the games that mattered, that's how I viewed it. Like I didn't until it like mattered until it was like you lose, you go out. That's when I kind of started doing more of the weighing stuff, and that's where Envy actually stepped up.
The Buzz pick is very. I'm a fan of the entry duelist build. Buzz is like pure space creation for Itsu and
Well,
Meteor
then
to
La
mop
Rock and
up.
No Man right after. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the 13 through 15 is like sacrificial lamb stat.
Yeah,
from Ren's
yeah.
previous one. Yeah.
This was really the power ranking of all time to decide if you're a sacrificial lamb predictor and that you're like picking every neon, or if you're a fucking based scope abusing. I don't care how many eco frags they get, how many kills total can this player get list.
Yeah, there's like three. Yeah,
and I
and
think
there's,
that's
like,
one of
three-
the reasons, besides just like how many teams could be good, that list ended up being so different.
That's why I think this was like the hardest one, because it is just a meta that is based. Like if you're heavy stats, you go for the ops. If you're heavy like consistency history, you go for the big names, and then if you're like Danby space believers, you go for them. That's why we kind of get the mixed match.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool though.
It's very cool, dude.
Yeah, it is cool.
What are your thoughts on what role is most important at the moment?
Base make.
Right, the guy who's going in and like
because
creating all the
you
stuff.
mentally got to be insane. Like I think I hate to bring it up, but like the best example is dude, I'm kind of just shitting on him when he's maybe getting kicked. Narrate was like the worst example of like the entry in terms of like the mental side of it, and then Danby's like the best example. They're like the polar opposites. And I think even if you just look at the results, it kind of just shows that you got to be willing to go zero kills the whole game, but just be happy that you made the space. So I feel like it's
Dude, pour one out for Optic Victor. Died too young for the meta.
really
would
was.
be perfect
He'd be good
in.
at this meta, yeah.
Yeah, this was his meta. It really was. It really was.
He was so good as like that space creator role before anyone else was really doing it to the same level.
He also had Ye on his team behind as the cleanup guy. So like it made more sense for them because they had the world's best cleanup guy versus anyone. Yeah. Like
I would love to watch 2022 Optic play in this tournament. Let's see what happens.
They'd probably
It'd be
be quite
fun.
confused about Abyss and Corrode.
Yeah, what the fuck is this map? I think this tournament is so interesting because I feel like it is the most parity we've ever had in style going into a tournament. Like this meta, more than I think any previous, has wiped away a lot of the like big regional differences. Like you watch China, you watch EMEA, you watch Americas. You know, there was differences earlier on, but now we are slowly moving closer and closer to just like either double duelist with the Neon Yoru or with the Waylay Yoru, and everyone is really committing to this style. That I think that is really the biggest reason why it is so hard to predict that when everyone is playing similarly and there's great players on every team, so much more comes down to like individual form on the day, how you change up, like very little things versus like big macro differences in game plans that have been definitive in the past.
It's the most open it's been as well, which kind of worries me to why we have China so low. But I also heavily back it because of what we've seen. But the chance of it going wrong is pretty high because I don't think we've seen snowballing be this consistent as well. Pistol rounds are pretty much meaning the most that they can just because of the fear and how good people are now with Yoru Outlaws. So snowballing and pistols are more prevalent than ever, which means the upsets are more prevalent than ever. So this event is anyone's. It's so anyone's. It really is. It's going to be sick.
And China's going to win because we said they wouldn't get anything. The last time we did this was going into Champions. I remember saying, no Chinese team will win a series. They look so bad regionally. And then EDG won the fucking tournament.
Yeah.
Did we not? We've said that since then. Surely we've said that since then.
No, I mean, I definitely have been flaming China for all of last year as well, to be fair.
During last champs, it was correct.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, but it's 50-50. It's straight up... I guess it's slightly less than 50-50 now.
Sure, yeah. But it works a lot better for them now because like the reasons they were losing is because of knowledge stuff. You don't need the knowledge
Now
stuff
there
to
is
be
no
good.
knowledge.
Yeah, no, it is. It
We're
is.
living in the dark ages of fucking Valorant.
It
The
is
fucking
though.
writing has
Truth era.
disappeared, and we are now in the fucking Bronze Age collapse.
Like you can try break shit down, but at the end of the day, if someone just double dives on your head and like the movement's good, mechanic wise, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. So it's it's anyone's, man. It's not like it's the best meta for China. If they suck at this meta, I'm definitely not watching them for a couple of years.
What do you mean definitely not watching them? You're already not watching them, bro.
Yeah, dude. I'll watch if they perform well here.
Okay, if they have 2 good teams, that was your clarifier though.
Yeah, 2
not
good
just
teams.
one. They have to have 2 good teams.
I'm not just having one, yeah.
good
Because then
luck
I'm
with
only
that.
watching the one good team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hit the Wyatt's Weekly Award and skedaddle then, because we've been going for 3 hours. This was meaty. We got through a lot, and people are going to be excited to just get on with Santiago. They can't be
We
listening.
don't have
back to
another
this
hour
VOD.
on Sentinels?
I know this isn't who you were expecting, but I thought I'd drop by. This one's better. It's the Guard's Very Good Great Gamer Award.
What happened? Why are we running so many of these now rather than the Wyatt's
I
Weekly?
said
Have
it
we
to
run
pick
out?
a random one from a folder. There's like 4 of those and like 100 other ones, and it keeps picking those ones.
Oh, hello. I think I might have frozen on my end, but
Hello,
Maybe you
can
can
you
hear
hear
me.
us,
Hello?
Josh?
Whoa.
Okay, well,
wow.
Josh is gone. Are you back?
Call Mimi.
Okay, Josh is dead. Does anyone have any proposals for this week's Wyatt's Weekly Award?
Well,
happened
in
this
the
week?
document it says us, which I think Kurt means him. But
I was pulling up the run of show, and this is how I was buying time from you guys.
well, I mean, there you go. I'll leak it. Kurt, do
Okay.
you want to give it to yourself? You want to self-congratulate? He's
It's
back.
not.
He's
It's
still
everybody.
it's not self. It's
Oh,
not.
I'm
It's
back.
everybody.
Oh, hello.
Josh, do the honors.
yeah, I mean, this week's Wyatt's Weekly Award goes to everybody who's ever subscribed to the channel. Congratulations to all of the subscribers. You now have a beautiful show being delivered to your subscription inbox on a weekly event. And if you're not subscribed to us, which also thousands of you are not subscribed to us, scroll down, hit the button, and you can be a winner of Wyatt's Weekly Award too. What, you've never won anything in your life? Yeah, click the button.
Jesus.
Fucking hell.
That's a pretty good pitch, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can be somebody today. Just click the big red button. You
not
can be
that
part of
anymore,
somewhere
man.
where we love each other and you belong, okay? Instead of being atomized by the fucking neoliberal order. You can be someone, okay? We will love you even when no one else does. We'll still love you, and that's why you're going to hit that fucking button.
All right,
Okay,
let's leave.
all right.
Bye.
Well, thank you very much for joining us for episode 25 of Plat Chat Valorant.
25.
25.
254. 254, sorry.
He just went with 25.
All right. Hit the button and I'll love you.